Just know when you want us to start recording.
Oh shit, that's right.
So now.
Alright, we are live now and recording in OBS. I will wait for the recording on Audacity, or do you want to do a sound check for that?
Now recording.
You can go ahead and start recording now, everybody.
Okay.
Test. Yes, Audacity is recording.
Excellent.
And I will drop the client link for UMICaster. If you guys just click on that link, and it will everything will start as normal. And you should be all good to go.
What link?
Check in the general channel.
Okay.
And there is I never can say that word correctly. UMICaster. Thank you. You just click that, you put in your Discord username, and it will be recording. And we will have to do that one more time because they only go for 2 hours. But we'll worry about that when it happens.
We want this recording and Audacity recording?
Please.
It will not get my microphone.
It won't?
Nope. It says cannot get microphone. Reference error. Can't find variable audio context.
All right. But you do have your Audacity backup, right?
Yeah. It actually looked like this just cut mine off, so it's probably better to do the local.
Okay. And you know what? That's fine.
Seem to be recording everything, so I'll just...
Perfect. Okay. Are we all here?
Yeah.
I think we
Yes.
are.
All right. Hi, everybody. Finally. How are you? Thanks for waiting. Those of you who have waited, we had some computer issues that continue to vex one of our players. That would be Gunslinger Andy, who may be joining us if he can get things working. He may not be joining us tonight, so we'll see. But let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Chris Hussey, and welcome to Deadlands, the Marshals Return to Wrath Downs. And just to kind of explain a little bit to everybody what this is, the Marshals is this is a one-shot Deadlands adventure. We're using the Deadlands Reloaded rules, sort of, provided by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. We're actually using the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition rules adapted, where Deadlands Reloaded can fit in here and there, as there has not been an official SWADE adaptation of Deadlands.
Yeah.
Not yet. It's coming, but yeah, not yet. And part of the reason why we're doing this is because everybody here, with the exception of one, and I'll get to that in a moment, has either their own Deadlands podcast or stream that's going on. Me personally, I run the Adventures of Young and Holt, and I'll let everybody else plug theirs when they get here. And there is one I said who doesn't meet that criteria, but that's because he's filling in at the last minute for Caleb Sunstead, who is the marshal at Sounds Like Crows, who fell ill with a little bit of a Texas tummy twister, and we decided we didn't necessarily want his projectile stream on this game stream, so it was probably best that he sit out for this game. So, a couple things then before we begin. Want to say a big thank you to, of course, Joe with Relative Dimensions for hosting, and then and getting everything up stream-wise and doing what I could not. And then also for Saving Throw Show, which is kind enough to be rating the signal as well. So if you're watching, wherever you're watching, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So since I can't see you guys for the moment, let's go ahead and do some introductions. And Joe, you're directly below me. So if you want to go ahead first, and then we'll make our way across.
Thank you. I am Joe, the host and GM at Relative Dimension. I was at one time running the Forksaken Frontier, and I will still be uploading those as I have time to edit them on my podcast feed. Currently, we are, however, streaming Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation bi-weekly Sundays. And you can find us on iTunes, on Google Play, and at relativedimension.com, and here at Twitch.
And I'll just speak for Andy here real quick until if he shows up. Gunslinger Andy is the marshal at the Joker's Wild Deadlands podcast, and you can find contact information through what he's got there down below. Gage, go ahead. Which Deadlands podcast do you do, Gage?
Yeah, tell us.
Hi, my name is Gage. I have a show called Gaming with Gage, of which the only actual play we've ever done is Fairies in Boston. So not quite Deadlands, but people have died. I was the one who came in at the last minute because Chris likes the way my hair looks.
I do indeed. And then that's just your facial hair.
Yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, so I'm happy to be here. I've never actually played Deadlands, but I am a huge Savage Worlds fan. People know because I never shut up about it. So I'm excited to be here.
And I don't know who the last guy is here, but maybe he will take the time to identify himself.
Oh, is that me? Just real quick. Hi, my name is Jordan Caves-Callarman. I am the GM of Wildcards on the Twitch channel Saving Throw, and I ran the group through a 5-season-long Deadlands campaign. We're currently running an ETU campaign, and that's Friday nights on twitch.tv/savingthrow at 8 p.m. Pacific time. But I do have a soft spot for Deadlands, and I don't think I've ever actually been a player in a Deadlands Reloaded game, so this will be fun for me.
Really?
I've only actually even played Savage Worlds a handful of times. I've almost exclusively GM'd it.
Yeah. No, I'm similar boat, so no, I know what you're. I get what you're saying.
I feel like we don't have to stream it all, but I feel like all of us Savage Worlds GMs, like, how barbers cut each other's hair once a month because a barber never has anyone to cut their hair? I feel like we should have a little private game going so we all get a chance to play Savage Worlds, the game we love.
That's true. Yeah, we're far too busy out proselytizing about it and trying to share all of the goodness that is Savage Worlds. So
proselytizing is busy work.
Yeah,
it is.
For the masses.
Yeah.
It is. It's very busy work. All right. So is that everything for introductions? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I mean, I know we still have to do bennies and all of that kind of stuff and whatnot, but we'll get to that.
You want us to talk about our characters, or are you waiting on that too?
Oh, you know what? Actually, that was what it was. I was going to have each of you tell us who your character is, like what their name is.
Okay.
And as far as what their shared relationship and background is, we'll get to that in a little bit here in the in my introduction. But yeah, by all means, please, Joe. Let's start with you again. Go ahead and tell us the name of your character.
My character's name is Jessica Winters. Would you like to know a
Write
little
this
about
down.
her?
Hey, yeah, if what information you want to reveal about her, go for it.
She is a huckster who has an arm replacement because she lost it in a duel with a rather prominent Watley family member years ago. I think that's good for now.
All right.
Oh,
Gage?
no, sorry, one more thing. She is
Oh,
both impulsive and curious, so hopefully that might make things interesting.
That won't cause any problems.
Not at all. None whatsoever.
I am playing Carson Hyde, I believe is the name. I feel like we should change the name to Caleb Hyde, just in honor of Caleb, who can't be here tonight. But Carson Hyde, who, real story, when I was reading out a little bit about the character to my wife, I said, he's lucky, he smokes, he's overconfident, you can't wake him up, and he's an improviser. And my wife said, why did Chris just give you? So I'm going to hopefully ease on into this. He, not the scrappiest guy in the West, but probably the smartest.
Excellent. Jordan?
Is me now? All right. I am playing Vincent Sawtell. I am a Hexslinger, not a huckster, a Hexslinger, which I have never played before, but it sounded like a lot of fun. Vincent, he has a little bit of a death wish, and he's jealous of anyone who might be a better duelist or gunslinger than he is. He's out to make a name for himself, basically. And if he uses a little bit of, runic, I mean, that's just using all of the resources he has available. That's not cheating.
No, of course not. Of course not. All right. Now, with all that out of the way, I think we actually technically can begin. So,
Oh, I did forget one thing, and maybe one of you can help me out. This is going to belay my ignorance.
Go for it.
What is Knack's seventh son, and why do I have it on my character sheet?
Well, that's a fun one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. That allows you to hold on. I have to switch a tab here.
Is it win? Does it mean all I do is win?
That is literally all you do is win.
Or he spends an equal or a same colored fate chip to negate the spending of another fate chip.
That is yes, that is correct. That is essentially what that does. So if I spend a fate chip to say soak some damage, or to do a reroll or whatever, you can spend a fate chip to cancel the spending of said fate chip.
Oh, this was a mistake, Chris.
Yes, I know. I know, because because he also has great luck, so you're going to be having all manner of fate chips, but that's kind of the whole point. So,
and I get bennies in my sleep.
And you you literally, you'll be sweating bennies during as things go on here as well.
Very true.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Let's begin then. I'm going to just take a pre-box text drink. So we open up on a scene inside of a saloon. Don't necessarily know where it is. Doesn't really matter. Bartender or two behind the bar. Several people sitting at the bar. There's a few people at various tables. Some are playing cards. Some minding their own business. Some are eating. The camera slowly pushes in through the doors, making its way towards two people right in the middle of the bar. In between them is a whiskey bottle and two shot glasses. The camera goes in a little closer, and you can hear the playing of a piano in the background and the sound of heavy conversation, some laughter occurring as well. And we get in closer and closer, and the conversation begins to slowly fade, but the music from the piano continues as we get in. And we see the bottle get tipped, refilling both shot glasses, set back down. And two respective hands come into the shot, grab their glasses. They disappear, come back down empty, and they set down with a solid clink on the bar. And at this point, the conversation has kind of faded, and the camera just stops, focused on these two glasses and this bottle. What was it? 5, 6 years ago? You know, after something like that, time, it just seems to blur. Memory, it fades. It's doing its best to heal wounds from regrets of the past. Now, some of that pain, it still kind of lingers, though, like it was yesterday. There were 3 strangers, each of them with their own reasons to go after this gang known as the Wild Eights. Now, the Eights, they had come to this town of Wrath Downs. It was out Wyoming way. And a gang was causing all manner of trouble that you'd expect from a group of outlaws. Now, the town marshal, he needed a posse. Now, the deputy, he was already there, but the 3 strangers, they signed up, as well as many able townsfolk. Everybody hailed them as heroes, and they chased that gang. They chased the Eights into the old silver mine outside of town. And that's where everything went to hell. Now, the stories vary, but for this part of the story, it's really just the end of that. That's all that matters. Though the marshal, he died. The tunnels in the mine, they collapsed. And the Eights, well, the Eights and all those townsfolk, they were left for dead inside. The only ones to come out was the deputy and those 3 strangers. And they may have started out as heroes, but right quick, they became the new villains. And there was a woman in that town. She had supported these strangers from the get-go. Her name was Esther Pelham. Well, she soon became the loudest voice to get them out of town. Overcome with grief, she got everyone on her side and got rid of them folks. And those 3 strangers, they left, heavy regret in their hearts, and unable to forget the words that Esther had spoken to them when they first went after the Wild Eights, with Esther's husband amongst that posse. It was the same words that she spoke when they left town. You do right by my husband, and do right by me. Some say that deputy that he had it the hardest, he had to stay in town. He became the new marshal. But now, Esther has died, and everyone's beginning to wonder if those 3 strangers will come back. And from there, we transition to a shot of a town. Number of buildings showing where the streets are lying or where the streets have formed. There's some activity in that town. There's a few people going in and out, stagecoach here and there, kids running the street. And each one of you, in turn, with the exception, of course, of the deputy, has made your way back to the town. Part of what brought you back was not too long ago, you received a telegram from Gil Blanchard, the marshal of Wrath Downs. And it said simply, Esther is dead. Stop. Might be related to the incident. Stop. Need you in Wrath Downs now. Stop. And it was signed Gil Blanchard. So one by one, the 3 of you came from whatever town that you had taken up in, and each of you did have a bit of an upturn of good fortune, becoming a town marshal in your own right. But you've decided to head back to Wrath Downs and see what's going on, see what's happened to Esther, see if anything has changed. As each of you has slowly ridden into town on your horse, you've gotten a few looks, some confusion, some maybe a little bit of derision, some surprise. You have yet to see any with any happy looks at your arrival. Some don't even recognize you. But one by one, you make your way down the street. And let's, Jordan, let's actually begin with you. Actually, before we start, it looks like Andy might be here. Andy, can you speak?
I think so.
I heard him.
Heard him.
Success!
You just got to mute yourself in VC.
In VC.
I think I've already done that. Let me double check.
I'm seeing your audio pulse.
Yeah, you're getting the little waveform action.
Okay. Now the waveform's gone, but now I can't hear him.
Speak, Andy.
Hello?
Can you turn your
there?
gain up
Really
a little
quiet.
bit?
Yep, just got to gain it up slide.
Hold on a
Oh, thanks, Nukes, for helping him out with his mic issues. You're a good human being.
Historian of Nukes who did that.
It was.
How's this?
Still quiet.
The echo's
I think you
still
might
there,
be
though.
coming. Are you coming through your mic or are you coming through the computer?
Let's see. The input device on my Discord says Blue Snowball, so...
Okay.
But I've also got a lot of background noise going on right now. There's an air conditioner on behind me because it is 1,000,000 degrees in here.
It is very hard to hear you, my friend.
It is.
Hello?
And it sounds like the chat is only hearing a slight bit as well. Let's keep working on it, Andy, and we'll actually go through what each, because your Gil has not come in yet, and nor will he come in for a moment or two. But Vincent, let's begin with you as far as timing wise when you're coming in.
All right.
Each of you has come in at some point during probably late morning, no later than early afternoon. And what would you, or where would you like to go once you get in there, Vincent?
So we're riding in on horses, right?
That is correct.
Vincent is a kind of lanky, youngish looking man, wearing kind of nondescript but very neat clothing. Just kind of like a ratty gray duster that's very creased and folded, and just neutral kind of khaki-ish tan clothing. He's got a gun belt at his waist. On one side is a normal-looking Colt Peacemaker. On the other is a very dark metal Colt Peacemaker that looks somewhat unremarkable except for 3 runes that are etched in it with silver. That one he doesn't pull very frequently. And a bowler hat and a rakish smile. So I'm gonna say that Vincent rides into town and sees all the looks of disapproval or whatnot from the townsfolk, and just kind of tips his bowler and grins, and is looking for a place just to get a drink and have a seat. Stuff.
There's your memory of the town is, fairly well. A lot of the buildings still look familiar. There definitely have been a few additional buildings that have been put up since. One that stands out only for the title, the sign that hangs above the door, being Miss Connie's House for the Wayward Souls. But you do see, of course, the saloon, and you have a number of memories from the saloon. That's Esther's Libations and Relaxations, and that is the saloon that Esther and her husband owned, and where you spent a good amount of time when you were here the first time several years ago, before everything happened, when you were on the Trail of the Eights. As far as any other place to catch a drink and get some of the trail dust out of your throat, that you do not see. It appears that Esther's is still the only place.
And it seems that Esther's is where I will go.
All right. You walk in, and there's a few people in here. It's the morning crowd's pretty thin. Most folks are still out working. There's a few cowpokes in the corner, kind of minding their own business, but there is a woman behind the bar, and she's got the towel going, just kind of cleaning things up. And you walk in, and she looks up at you, regards you when you first come in. Excuse me, and then it's one of those kind of those double take kind of things where she recognizes you as a person who came in here, and then she recognizes your face. I'm assuming that appearance-wise, you haven't necessarily changed that much since the last time you were here.
We got a couple new scars, but not much apart from that.
Okay. She looks, and she gets a bit of a surprised look on her face, and she stops. The wiping of the counter just slowly comes to a stop, and she looks at you. I didn't think I would ever see your face again.
Is my face something that isn't welcome around here?
Well, and the memory of who this person is slowly coming back to you. Her name is Shelley Westingwood, and you remember her only because she worked in Esther's, and she was a close associate of Esther's, not a relation, but a close friend. And she says, "Well, considering everything that happened, we never thought that you'd come back."
Shelley, that's it.
Yeah.
I landed on it in my own due time.
And I'm afraid that's where you do have me at the disadvantage, or at the advantage, because I do recognize you, but I'm sorry, I can't place your name.
Oh, well, that's no problem at all. I take it you don't get much news of the outside world here in Rathsdown anymore, so my name might be slow to reach it. Vincent Sawtell.
Damn it! It was this close. It was this close. Vincent,
Might have read
yes.
about me in one or two dime novels. I don't know. I don't keep track.
Well, I don't get much time or inclination to read. Like you said, not much has been going on in Wrath's Down since then, and since the mine closed, of course. What can I get you to drink?
Well, what do you got that's good for special occasions? A reunion of sorts, so I figured we should get things started right.
A reunion? Wow. Is there something I'm unaware of?
From time to time, a man has a need for a nostalgic reminiscing about the glory days of his past, and now seemed like as good a time as any.
She reaches behind and grabs down a bottle of mid-shelf whiskey, puts a glass in front of you. Well, who are you reuniting with? If you're looking for Gil, he's not here at the moment.
Where is Gil? How's that son of a bitch been doing?
Well, he's fine. It's been a little bit tough the past few days. He's either going to be in the Marshals office or out at the grave. And her eyes kind of narrow a bit. Make me a notice check also while you're talking to her.
Got it. I will be rolling off screen. I rolled a 4.
4. When you asked her how is Gil and how is that son of a bitch these days, her expression changed slightly, as if she was attempting to protect herself against something or steel herself to not necessarily relay, I don't want to say not relay information to you, but there's something going on in her face.
Okay.
But yeah, you can find him either at the sheriff's office, marshal's office, or the graveyard, considering.
Sounds like he might be for the moment, so perhaps I should just enjoy myself this fine drink that you've poured for me and wait and see if anyone else familiar happens to walk through those doors.
Well, she pushes the bottle slightly towards you. Please do. All right. Jessica, you too have come into town slightly later in the morning, seeing a lot of the similar things that Vincent encountered when he came through. Again, a number of looks, not all anywhere in the realm of cordial, but none that are outright hostile towards you as you make your way through. And you too see that the town doesn't appear to have changed as much as you remember it from the last time you were here. You still see Esther's. You do see the new building, Miss Connie's. The church down the road, also still there. Where would you like to go?
Well, after such a long ride, I think into Esther's for a drink.
You happen to come in and you notice a few things. A couple more people have filtered their way in. There is a familiar face kind of leaning with his back up against a bar at this point, kind of just surveying the scene, people watching, such as it can be in here. Looks like Vincent. One thing that you do notice, and Vincent, you had noticed this as well, above the bar, there is a nice, well-built box. And it has a plaque on there, and it's resting upon a nice shelf. It looks like it has some nice engravings in there as well, and the plaque reads, what does it read? Reads, in loving memory of the men and women of Wrath Downs, until you are buried right and good. But as you make your way in here, number of faces turn and look at you, kind of regard you briefly. Go ahead and describe what you look like.
So Jessica is a bit lean. She's tall, about 5'7", wearing a brown duster that's well travel worn. Peeking out from the left sleeve is a metallic left hand, an arm, because it has been replaced from being lost a long time ago in a magical duel. She's got a peacemaker at her hip, a scattergun still in the scabbard on the horse that she left outside. And probably a few years older than everybody remembers her from before. A bit more worn.
You do recognize, it takes you a moment, and Vincent, this is true for you as well. But eventually the dawning of the familiarity of the both of you in each other's faces shows up. And Jessica, you know that's Vincent, and Vincent, you know that's Jessica.
Is that Miss Jessica Winters?
Why, yes it is. You got a telegraph too, I suppose.
Telegraph? Oh, sure. Yeah, I did get one of those, but I just thought now seemed like a good time to come back and revisit old stomping grounds or what have you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's quite right for me, but I guess it brings back memories.
It does. Apparently for the townsfolk here as well, and from the looks of it, not all of them pleasant.
Not many of them, I think.
Shelley says, you got, not always too pleasant, especially considering. Can I get you a glass as well, Jessica? I'm assuming this must be the reunion that you spoke of. Is that right, Vincent?
Well, yes. I can't say that I was expecting it to happen quite so quickly, but this is indeed the reunion that I was speaking of. Miss Winters, why don't you join me here at the bar? You're welcome to partake in my libations, if that's all right with you, Shelley.
That's just fine. The bottle's been paid for, so it's all fine by me.
Well, thank you. How about you bring a cigar too, please?
She gives a little bit of a sigh and turns. I can do that.
Very unladylike habit.
No, nobody ever called me ladylike. How have you been?
Fine. Just, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I got tied down more than I might have otherwise liked to have. But, turns out being the marshal of a small town makes it somewhat easier to post up and await the challenge of the local bandits that move through the area. So I still get to see my fair share of action. How about yourself?
Same. I've been marshal up in a town north Tranquility for a while. Anything but tranquil.
A coincidence.
So reunion, huh? Who else are we expecting?
Anyone else who's got the guts to show?
Right about that time, thank you for the segue. Carson, you have made your way through the streets as well. And they, by this point in time, most of the faces that you've encountered now have turned to almost I don't want to say outright anger, but they're definitely not happy.
I smile, I wave, I wink once or twice, but only when it's appropriate.
They you even hear as you passed by a couple of folks something to the effect of, "What punishment do we deserve to have them come back into town?"
I look around for the them they must be talking about.
It's pretty easy to figure out who probably said it. It was someone who didn't expect to be heard. He was kind of whispering aside.
Oh, I'm not looking for who said it. I'm looking for who they're talking about, because they must be happy to have me back.
Though he looks at you briefly as if he got caught, and then sees that you're just kind of like, not necessarily looking at them. And his eyes flick away, and him and his conspirator, they kind of turn their backs to you, basically.
The next person I make eye contact with, I wink, and then I keep riding.
All right. Their expression goes from upsetness to confusion at that point.
I've been known to have that effect.
And you make your way into Esther's as well, and right away you're able to see both Jessica and Vincent have begun a bit of a conversation going on at the bar. There's, it's only probably been maybe about 20 minutes, I think, since Jessica made her way in here. And the two of them are kind of talking up a storm. You look across and make eye contact with Shelley behind the bar. And at that point, as soon as she sees you, she almost gives this nod of she kind of expected you in a certain way. And you see her immediately go and grab a third glass and drop it down in where the two of them are talking. And then she says to you, Vincent, and Jessica says, "I'm expecting you'll need this. I suppose I can go get Gil here too."
Seems right likely at the moment.
Vinny! Jess!
I don't like being called that. Hey,
It's okay,
Carson.
Vinny. It's good to see it. It starts giving hugs to everyone and stuff, and then just grabs the rest of the bottle. So you guys made it.
Yeah, that we did. And we were just catching up here, awaiting your imminent arrival, and that of the Marshal of Wrathbounds.
I thought that Marshal died. Weren't we there when he died?
Him, Carson, the new Marshal. I was being...
Oh, okay.
I was trying to make reference to our old comrade at arms.
Oh, okay. When I was coming in, I got this weird feeling. I'm not sure they like us.
Gives you that impression?
Just a couple of weird looks, and I winked at one person, and then they walked the other way. It's just not how people usually react. Hey, you're right. I'm probably overthinking it. You're always right, Vinny.
A few minutes pass, and Gil, wherever you might... First of all, Andy, do we have your audio?
Do you?
Yes!
Yes, we do.
No echo. Yeah.
We got audio, we got video.
Gosh, it's almost like an actual gaming session. Oh my gosh.
Perseverance.
This is yeah, right. It pays off. It pays off.
You get an extra fate chip. I'm not running this game.
You know what? I totally forgot to hand out fate chips. What the hell kind of GM am I? Hold on. All right, let's do this.
Great low-key prompt there.
Yeah, well done. So before Gil comes in, let's do that. Let's hand out a few fate chips because that is what we do here in Savage Worlds. And I'm gonna have to determine who gets what. I'm gonna have each of you just roll a d6. Don't explode it, and we'll go highest to lowest there.
Dead in the middle, where I like to live.
Got a 4.
And Andy got a 4. We have a tie. So Andy and
I got a 1.
Jordan, Andy and Jordan, if you want to have a roll off.
I'm gonna switch over to actual dice here. Hold on.
You go right ahead. You got a 3 for your follow-up roll, Jordan?
5.
All right. Andy gets it. And Andy, you don't have luck or anything, right? Your character does not have luck?
No.
All right. There's your chips. Oh. Jordan, you changed your character's name, and I'm like, where is he showing up on my list? I'm not seeing it.
Oh, I can also do that.
Yeah, it's
probably
fine.
better.
And then Jessica gets... Oh, wait, actually, Andy, you have great luck, correct? Or, I'm sorry, Gage, you have great luck.
I do.
All right, so you're going to get 2 more.
I think that means I get 10?
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
It doubles every time you take that edge.
I think so, yeah.
So it's an exponential sort of thing.
I don't know Deadlands, but the Savage Worlds I play.
How is it? All right, hold on a second. What the heck? That is impossible. Oh, that's why. All right. Now, sorry guys, I'm going to take them all back from you. And now we're going to do this. And the reason why is because some were like sitting out on the table somewhere. They must have been, and
yeah, they're on the right side, right? Where we can just click draw.
Yeah, but let me deal them out to you, and then when the time comes, I will gladly let you do so. Yeah, but some must have been like hiding somewhere, and they were not part of the pot. So here's Carson. Okay, and then Jessica. It's 3, and because there's 4 of you, I get 4. All right, now the Gage, for your benefit, since you have not played Deadlands before, if you look at your fate chips, there are multiple colors, and there are red, there are white, there are blue, and one of you may be lucky enough to have the yellow one. If you have the yellow one, that's just actually going to be a blue one for this game. That's actually the legend chip. But yeah. So, and also, Gage, for your reference, so white fate chips give you a simple reroll. Red fate chips, you can treat them either as a white, which gives you the simple reroll, or you can roll and add a d6 to your check. However, if you do spend a red, I get to draw a fate chip. And blue fate chips allow you to do the same as red, where you could spend a roll, add a d6, or, then the advantage there being I do not get to draw a fate chip in response to that.
Cool. So Baby Benny, Cursed Conviction, Regular Conviction. Got it.
You got it. All right. We also have adventure deck cards, of which each one of you is going to get one.
Ooh, fancy.
Fun
and these
stuff.
Never got to play with these.
These are the new SWADE adventure deck cards as well.
Ooh, I got Deadly Blow.
Nice.
And I hope you wanted us to say that out loud.
No, that's fine.
I got Angry Mobs, so get ready, Chris.
Yikes.
That's some really unfortunate time for you, because it's a favorite card of mine for my players to use.
The stream can see mine, which is Love Interest.
Oh, very nice.
Ooh.
I got Dressed to Kill.
Which works because you are, in fact, dressed to kill.
You are. You are indeed.
I have to stop looking at where they are on my screen and look at where they would be in the overlay, right?
Do the Brady Bunch thing.
All right. Now we've done that essential part of the game, which I completely forgot.
That's if you're going to forget something, that's a good one because players will always remind you.
That's very true. That's very true.
Can I get more things?
Wait a minute.
I want my new stuff. So, Gil, let me ask you before you come on to the scene here. Shelley, who of course is now the proprietor of Esther's libations and relaxations ever since Esther's death recently. She's come to get you to let you know that the three strangers from before are here. Do you want to go to the bar and meet them, or do you want to have them come and meet you?
No, I'll go ahead and meet them there.
Okay. She looks at you and she says, "Yeah, they're all here. They're all sitting at the bar. If you want to meet them, you know, they're there. Are you going to take them out to the grave?"
I figure.
What? I think that would only be right. All right. Well,
I got something to show them anyway.
Oh, all right then. I'm just gonna go back. I had to leave. I had to leave James in there, and you know sometimes how he forgets things. So I don't want him serving any free drinks to anybody else.
Right.
Okay.
Can she come back into him serving us a bunch of free drinks?
I was going to say, to us being like, another round of drinks for everybody, courtesy of our new friend, James.
That is 100% what's happening. James is, he's a bit, he's more absent-minded than anything else. And he's like, he's grabbing down, as he grabs the whiskey from the top shelf, he says, now, are you sure that Shelley said that this was okay?
And it basically,
hell yeah, she did.
Yeah, and Carson's like taking the bottle from him, and the moment he goes to do the next thing, he puts the bottle down behind the counter and goes, "James, where's that bottle?" And just keeps doing that until he's got like 3 bottles down, and then he's like, "Thank you so much, James."
Make me a that sounds like you're trying to persuade him into believing something. Make me a persuade roll.
Hey, can I support him with that?
You absolutely can support him. How do you want to support him?
With my best skill, which is taunt, I'm gonna be just kind of distracting James. Yeah, of course it's okay. Now we're old friends of Shelley's, and you don't want her to come back and see that you've been treating your guests poorly. Now, do you, James? You seem like a better employee than that.
All right. Gage, what'd you get on your persuade roll?
Well, let me put the 1 modifier in, right?
Yes, indeed. That is absolutely a +1.
Yeah, that's a 6. That's a success with a race.
It's totally not, but that's.
Oh, I thought that was him rolling.
Oh.
No, it's private roll zone.
You're the roll zone. You're 1 away because Vincent's gave you a +1, so you are at a 7. You're close.
Oh no, I included the +1. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. James looks from Vincent over to Carson, and he's like, "What? Well, no, of course not. I don't want to do that. I thought I had gotten something, but I must not have. It gets busy in here, you know. It gets busy."
I'm used to tending bar. We understand.
Absolutely. And you're doing, might I say, and as I take a bottle and put it below the counter, a heck of a job. Now, could I get that bottle real quick?
Well,
am I would like to think that I'm coming in on this.
As I'm just passing bottles to Vincent underneath so he can keep holding them.
Don't keep our lady friend waiting here now, James. She's got a powerful thirst.
Right. No, of course not. Of course not. Yes, that's right. You know, she needs to restock these bottles up top. I seem to remember her having more, but I guess maybe it was that stage you came through here last
James,
week.
it's that keen eye for details that makes you so good at this job. See, she missed it. You picked it up right away. I'll tell you, if this was our place, we'd have you running it.
Well, that's mighty kind of you. And he hangs on to the bottle this time. He breaks the Star Trek time loop, and he holds on to this bottle this time, and he pours the shots of the top shelf, puts it down, but then still puts the bottle down, and then turns and walks away. And at this point, Shelley comes in from the back, and she's like, James, just You gotta go. You get back there and finish tending to what you're doing. I'll take care of these. Why do they have that?
Carson, I forgot how.
And then at this point,
how
Gil,
useful it is having you around.
Gil, at this point, you're coming in.
Yeah.
So I'll just stride up to the bar where the rest of these yahoos happen to be. See a collection of whiskey bottles, and just turn and look at Carson. Put those back.
Well, I mean, they were just giving them away free. I don't know what you expected of me.
Well,
I'll put back the three.
I expect you to pay for them, for one, if you're going to keep them.
To be
So
fair, we did pay for
Blanchard-
2 of these.
These are gifts from this fine establishment in recognition of this momentous day, this occasion that finds us all back together once again. Our new friend and associate James was kind enough to help Carson out and getting himself set up for this little welcoming party we're putting together.
Party.
At the mention of this, like the momentous day and welcoming party in this, Gil's expression just turns even more dour and looks at Vincent and goes, I don't think this day's worth celebrating.
His credit, Vincent does look somewhat chastened by this. That's Marshall. I'm sorry that this meeting, unfortunate circumstances.
You don't know the half of it, Vincent.
So you're saying you don't want to drink?
I could probably use all I could stand.
Okay.
No, just
So wait. Are you pulling up one of your James bottles at that point to pour him a drink? Because Shelley was just coming around to do that as you produced this bottle, and she oh you got it, okay.
I'd like to say that I would like to say I'm glad to see y'all, but well, I'm not.
Me?
Well, not so much that you're here, but why you're here.
No, we all understand. And he looks at Jessica like she's obviously the problem.
Jessica's sitting there with a deck of cards in her hand. Problem?
It's probably easier for me to show you than to try to tell you. So, drink up another round and we'll go out to Esther's grave.
If that's the way it's going to be, perhaps we should have a little bit of a toast. All right. I see everyone has already finished their drink.
That's okay. I'll refill. Okay. And for the toast. Yep.
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Pour me another one there.
Yep. Okay. Here you go. Okay. Oh, and I went a little too soon again. I'm sorry. I'm going to get this. And I pour one more. And I'm like, okay.
If y'all don't mind, I wouldn't mind getting in on this. This is Shelley.
Shelley, it is not a good idea to be hitting up your own supply, but just this
on
once.
The clock, Shelley. That's true.
All right, one time. And I pour her one.
Just let her drink her own damn whiskey.
I appreciate that.
Esther.
To Esther.
Esther.
Who was Esther?
Do you say
in
that?
character or out of character?
No, that's in character.
Okay, that'll get you a penny. And if you say that, Shelley looks at you. You son of a bitch. She turns and disappears back behind you.
I feel like she liked me more last time.
I think everybody liked us more before last time. Come on.
As you're leaving, in all truthfulness, Carson, how many of those bottles did you actually pay for?
I think I paid for 1, said I paid for 2, and ended up with 5. So I put 3 back and tried to get the other 2 out, only having paid for 1 of them.
Okay.
Oh, no,
That's the goal.
I
don't know what
pocketed
Vincent
1,
has.
and I'll leave payment on the bar as I walk out.
Oh, you're going to leave payment?
For mine.
Okay. But Carson, you are essentially taking an extra bottle.
I'm going to try.
Okay. You, the four of you are walking out, and there's a shout from the side. Hey, Dandy! You didn't pay for that one.
No, she put money on the counter and point at Jess.
Yeah, she paid for hers. She didn't pay for yours.
And who is this? Yeah.
It's somebody. It's this guy. It's one of the cowpokes over in the corner, and he has gotten up. He stood up at this point when he said that, and he looks over. He looks over at you, Gil. He says, "Marshal, I just want to make sure that you know that you're consorting with a thief right there."
It's on my tab. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's on your tab, is that right? Oh, wait, let me guess. And he takes a couple of steps forward. These are all your friends from last time. Is that about the way I reckon this?
I want to step a little bit closer to the guy and just be like, "Oh, now, friend, is that exactly how you want to be addressing duly appointed officers of the law?" And just kind of pull my duster open to reveal my my star.
I do the same behind him.
Oh yeah, them's real impressive stars. By my recollection, officer, the only law in this town is that man there, and that's only by those who are willing to tolerate him being here.
At this point, I'm cutting his ass off and go, sit down, and roll intimidate.
Okay.
Got a 5.
You got a 2. Not going to spend a penny on this one. He looks at you and looks at the rest of you. Yeah, I see how it is. You go and you come in here, get a bunch of people killed in town, and then you all leave and go off and become law enforcement. I see how that goes. Yeah, that sounds like justice to me. That's fine. You take your stolen bottle. That's fine. Go ahead, Marshal. It's about how you run this town anyway. He just kind of turns and staggers back and sits back in his chair. The other two who are with him just give like brief little sidelong looks, but they do not maintain any sort of eye contact with the rest of you.
Well, that settles that. Lead on.
Well, once we step outside and into some actual light, you see that Gil's a little more finely dressed than the last time you saw him. Last time, mostly just plain old ordinary workman's clothes. But this time, nice shirt, fancy vest, black hat with a silver band around it. Around his waist is a shiny, well-oiled gun belt, and in the gun belt is a Colt Peacemaker, 4 3/4-inch barrel. Most of the metal on it is black as midnight, and the only thing that really stands out about it are the very new, very white ivory grips.
I feel like there's a memory problem with your town, Gil. They seem to only remember their people who died in the mine and not remember the fact that we also left the 8s in there too. And I feel like we should be getting at least 50% more gratitude.
So who was that feller back there?
No one of import.
Seems to have rattled you just a touch, Blanchard.
There ain't been a whole lot going on in this town lately that hasn't rattled me, but that's low on the list.
Looks like your salary's been treating you just fine.
Well, duly appointed, duly elected.
Duly paid.
I'm assuming you're walking while you're talking, making your way to the
walking
graveyard?
and talking.
All right.
I grab my rifle off my horse as we go by and just sling it over my shoulder because it hasn't been a friendly town.
No.
I actually leave my shotgun on my horse because, nobody touches a person's horse. Usually.
You reach the gravesite, walking through the gate that's there. It's in a bit of a disrepair. It's very shoddy fence work as far as that goes. And Gil leads you through a number of the gravestones there, and you get to the edge, and there's a small mound of still relatively fresh dirt. Only been a few days, no more than a week and a half, for sure. And there's a marker there. It's just wood. There's a cross, but then underneath it is a little placard, and it just says Esther Pelham, beloved town pillar, beloved proprietor, and beloved by her husband, Elmer.
Oh, she was Elmer's wife. Okay. I remember him. He was really nice. All you guys had to say was, never mind.
What is it you wanted to show us, Gil?
So what happened?
Well, hold on. Is it possible for me to brush some of this dirt away and get into where she's buried? Because I want to show them what's on her chest.
Well, you want to actually get down and make them see?
Yeah.
You absolutely can do that. It's going to take you a little while. I mean, it'll take you a few minutes to get there, but you can most certainly do that.
No, that's what I want to do.
All right.
You get down and start clearing dirt off the grave?
Yep.
Everyone in this town. Whoa.
You didn't tell us we were going to need a shovel.
I would have brought a shovel. I'm conscientious like that.
This will just take a couple of minutes. Showing beats telling anyway. Besides, I don't want word of this getting around.
That the marshal of the town is exhuming dead bodies from the graveyard? Yeah.
She ain't coming out. She's staying put. Just gonna show you something right quick. Cover her back up.
All right. Well, I suppose if you don't want word of this getting out, we should at least make sure no one comes by.
Yeah, I'll turn around and keep watch.
I'll walk a little bit of ways to create a perimeter. We're all professionals here.
Okay. All right. Everybody, make me a spirit roll, please.
Including me.
Including you.
Spirit roll.
Ooh, that's not good.
That's a 4.
I got a 6.
5.
2. Okay.
I'm going to keep it. Because I'm curious.
All right. That's fair. 4, 6, and 5 are the other ones?
Yes.
Okay. The 4, 6, and 5, each one of you, as your Jessica and Carson, you're kind of on lookout, doing your thing. And Jessica, you hear as a breeze kind of blows past, and you can kind of hear the sound of Gil. He's scraping away dirt and digging, and the dust and gravel kind of hitting in a pile behind. And as each impact of dirt drops down one after the other, maybe, and you're not sure, it becomes kind of rhythmic, and then suddenly the clumping sound as the dirt hits, it changes from this clumping noise, and you swear you start hearing something, and one by one you start hearing the names. With each drop, there's no more dirt noise. It's a name. James, Patrick, Carl, Wilma. One after the other, all these names start dropping with each one. You turn to look to see where you're hearing this, and nobody's standing around you. You're not hearing anything from anybody. And at one point, Gil pauses, wipes his brow, and the names stop, and the breeze kicks up again. And then you swear you hear this whispered word of justice go across your ear. Carson, for you're sitting there looking, and you can hear him digging behind, clearing things up. And you look off to the side, your peripheral vision, you pick up a bit of motion, and so your eyes are drawn over there. And you look and you swear that you see someone standing by this shrub. They're just standing right there and they're looking at you. And in your normal mode and manner behavior, you put up a hand to wave and give a little wink and a smile. And your vision at that point just tightens, and it's almost like you zoom into the person's face, and you see that they're covered in soot and their clothes are ragged, and their eyes flick open, and the whites are staring right back at you, and they open their mouth, and this black and dirty and bloody looking liquid just kind of dribbles out of their mouth as they open it, and their own hand just kind of slowly comes up as if to wave back, and your vision pulls back and you blink and it's gone. Gil, for you, as you're digging through the dirt and you're scooping, you feel like you're getting close. You reach down to grab another clump of dirt, and you feel this sensation of these fingers come and wrap themselves around your fingers, and it grabs both hands just for the briefest of moments and almost like pulls back at you, and then it's gone, and then you pull back again and the dirt comes free. And then for you, Vincent, you're standing there at your post watching. You can see the townsfolk just milling about from the distance where the grave is, or where the town is, I'm sorry, from where you're at in the graveyard. And the same thing with this a breeze begins to kind of kick up, and in the wind you hear this voice say, "We're coming for you, traitor. We're coming for you. Looking forward to seeing you again. Getting the gang back together." And you turn for a moment, your eyes blink, and you thought you saw over by a little cropping of rocks a number of familiar faces and familiar hats and familiar guns. And then you blink again, and they're gone. And you are not necessarily shaken, but you're a bit unnerved by this.
I'm gonna say actually that I go totally pale when I hear that, and whip around, and my hand just kind of twitches down towards the runic inscribed gun at my belt before I kind of blink and come back to myself. Well, this place is pleasant.
Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't need to show y'all. Maybe it's not that important after all. I don't start
them.
You hear in
your ears, Gil.
You got Spooky Dead, don't you? I hate Spooky Dead.
The funny thing is that Gil actually took a D4 in cult, so He's no stranger to anything weird now.
Are you going to keep digging?
God damn it. All right. Fine. And I keep digging.
All right. You goes for a few more minutes. The rest of you just kind of keep your eyes out, keep your ears out. Nothing else odd happens. But finally, you reach the shroud that Esther was wrapped in. She wasn't put in a pine box. She was just wrapped in a thick shroud, and you're pretty sure you're right at the right spot.
I'll pull it back. Let them see.
All right, are y'all gonna come over and look, or?
Yeah, I guess so.
Reluctantly.
I don't like it.
I'm not reluctant at all. I'm walking over. I'm curious.
All right. You lean over, and Gil's got his hands down there, and he's holding the shroud apart and open, and you can see the the dirt has kind of rolled a little bit back down. Some has gotten into the shroud and has definitely, you can see the top of what looks to be like a woman's dress. It's black. It's got a little bit of lacing up on the top. And you can see where it's right near the collar, kind of right where the neck meets the top of the torso. And in that little spot where there's the indentation of the throat, just below that, it's dark and it's covered with dirt, but you can definitely see that the little dark spots where blood is a cut made by the tip of a knife or maybe a fingernail, and the number 8 has been cut into the top of her chest.
Oh man, now I get why they were so mad at us.
What are we looking at here, Gil?
Looks like the number 8 to me, Vincent.
No, I
come
see
on,
the
Vinny.
number. All right, it's Vincent.
Yeah.
The number. What's the significance? How to get there?
That was found on her dead bodies.
So, Marshall, I'm going to kneel next to the body.
All right.
And I'm going to cast a hex.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Hunch.
All right.
That's my favorite hex.
I love that hex.
Do you want me to draw from the deck on the table or with my own cards here?
I think because it's your overlay that we're seeing, I think we absolutely should have you draw from the deck.
All right.
On the overlay so we can see.
All right. Can you shuffle the hex draw deck for me just to make sure?
I would love to.
And I'm actually going to deal. I'm not going to spend power points on this.
Yeah, let's
even
jump right
better.
in.
By all means, please.
I believe I have 3 points of grit and 1 extra card from High Roller, so that's a total of 9.
Okay.
I have no idea what any of these words mean, but I'm very excited.
Willie, I'll let you know when the time comes, because the time will come.
Yeah, Hunch needs 3 power points, so I am going to need Jacks or better.
You're better. Careful with them cards, Jessica. Anything untoward happening.
And I have a straight 10, Jack, Queen, King, and a 9. So King High Straight.
Very nice.
Which gets me 6 power points, so I get enough for my hex.
Does everybody in the group, are they aware of
I
your
would think
abilities?
so.
All right. And Vincent, same for you. Are they also aware of your abilities?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
You didn't ask me. Yes, they're aware that I'm charming.
Well, I think we all just yeah, but what about your character?
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yet to see the proof.
All right. So you touch the body. You and I believe the cards do materialize in a fashion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And where are you putting the cards, though? Are they staying in your hand, or are you placing them in this dirt hole? The dirt hole, by the way, is the new saloon that is currently under construction in Wrathdowns. It's not completed yet.
I mean, soon.
Yeah.
I'd be placing them on the body. I want a vision of what happened to her since they found her like this.
Okay.
I forgot about this part.
Fair enough. All right. So the cards come out. You touch the body. And the rest of you can see Jessica's head kind of snap back and her arm stiffens as she almost like her fingers try to like claw into the body, like she's trying to get some sort of death grip on the body. And it only happens for the briefest of moments before she lets go and her head snaps back forward and she almost kind of collapses in on herself. And she breathes heavy and then spits. Jessica, what you see as you touch the body and you play your cards out, you blink and your vision changes, and it's a rapid series of images just flash in front of you, almost like a Nickelodeon thing. If you turn it too fast, and then it spins and then it stops on an image, and you see Esther standing at her wash basin, and there is beams of moonlight coming through the window in her room. The Nickelodeon spins again, stops on another image. She has pulled her blankets up over her to bed down for the night. And in the corner of out of the corner of the room, in the mirror, you see a strange reflection of something dark and coily moving on the wall somewhere. Can't get a gauge for what size it might be. The Nickelodeon spins again. Image is flashing, and it freezes on another image. This time, something is now climbing up over the bed, onto the bed, and it's got long clawed fingers, and it's got a writhing centipede-like body, and it's large, somewhere between maybe 4 or 5 feet. It's almost taking up the entire bed. And then the Nickelodeon spins one more time, stops, and you're now looking through Esther's eyes, and you can feel the sensation. Her mouth has been opened and something has placed itself on her mouth and is forcing something down her throat. And you're looking at this strange creature. It has almost a human-like face, but it has bits and pieces that look almost insectile, as that are coming off it, bits of antenna and like a chitinous outer type of shell. It spins one last time, and the perspective has changed, and you see the same creature now carving with its fingernail the number 8 on the chest of Esther Pelham. And the Nickelodeon spins again and again and again and again and again. It begins to fade out as the magic from your hex dissolves away. And then you come back to the real world.
So with that, I assume I probably fall back.
I'll attempt to catch.
Oh, hell. This wasn't done by a person. Or at least not a person anymore.
Leave us in suspense, Jessica. What'd you see?
Something crawled into her bedroom window. Almost looked like it had the face of a man, but insect-like. hard outer shell, segmented eyes. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
And just so everyone knows, sorry to break the tension, but it looks like I was booted out of VC.
What? What? No.
See,
All right. Call
Tension.
again.
What
Or,
tension? I'm just sweating, that's all.
Let's try that. I'll call you again.
All right.
There you are.
hello.
I switched my headphones, and apparently that broke everything.
No,
Yeah.
why would you switch your headphones?
I saw you trying to call, but I saw the video up there before. It's like, well, all right, we already got it. Maybe it's a duplicate.
Well, anyway, based off of what Jessica's just described, I'm not the best at it, but I'm going to roll a cult
Okay.
to see if this rings a bell. A 2.
A 2.
A 2.
This absolutely does not sound familiar to you in any way, shape, or form.
Also, Marshall, I forgot to cast the spell, so while you were describing that, I did roll and I got a 9, so I did successfully cast it.
Cool. I forgot to ask you to make your casting roll, so there we go. We're even.
You know that ain't a nightmare of hers or something you saw, Winters. How well does this stuff work, anyways?
When it works, it works. I was seeing it out of her eyes. Whatever it was crawled in there, got up on top of her, and the last thing I felt was it carving into her neck.
Did this happen last time?
No. In fact, actually, last time when you guys were last here, everything that occurred with the 8s almost was surprisingly conventional in every way. There wasn't a lot of, if any, supernatural. The silver mine, you have vague memories of it being pretty creepy inside there, but mines are creepy places to begin with anyway.
Okay. And these are creepy people to be hanging out with.
So, Gil, is her room still empty? There might have been something left behind.
Well, I don't believe Esther had a whole lot of kin, so anything that's hers is probably still there.
Yeah, Shelley has taken care of any sort of ownership of the few meager belongings that Esther did have.
I'd like to get a look at her room.
Well, come on, Shelley's got a key.
Yeah, and if there happen to be any segmented-eyed, human-looking insect people just waiting in the shadows there, at least we can flush them out right away. Of anticipation.
Yeah.
Well, if anything's waiting for us there, we'll just shoot them.
All right. You get to go back to Esther's then?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll swing by, get the key from Shelley, and then.
And this time, I'm going to stop and grab my shotgun.
Okay. Shelley is tending bar, so you'll have to get it from her in the bar. And
if anyone goes in, it should probably be me, right?
Well, clearly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you all going in, or is Gil, or just you going in?
I'll unlock the door. But if Carson says, I guess I'll go in first. I'll just open the door and go.
Does she have a house, or did she have a room above the bar?
Above the bar.
Yeah.
So we probably all have to go in anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, if Carson wants to lead the way, I say by all means.
I mean, the odds are good that if I go first, we all walk out of here alive, just like last time.
The odds are good if you go first, the rest of us walk out of here alive like last time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
fine.
I
that's
could
with
argue with them odds.
Elmer was in front of us last time, wasn't he?
Nope.
It was
He-
Elmer, then me. Okay.
Actually, the thing is, Gil's heroic. Carson attempts to go in first, and Gil steps in.
I could have done it. That's all I'm saying. I mean, obviously I don't have anything to prove here. You've seen me in action, all of you, but
Oh, Carson wants to get in. Let the man go in.
I could go in.
Ignoring it, walking in.
Vinny, can you believe him?
There's like an old guy who's standing outside the saloon as the four of you are arguing about who's going to go in. You can see that he's just kind of patiently waiting to get in. You know, he's absentmindedly checking his.
Are we
pocket
standing
watch.
outside the bar still?
Yeah, you're standing right outside.
I thought we were
I'm
outside of her
assuming so.
room.
I think we were arguing
so was
about
I.
who's
That's
going to
why.
go in.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on a second. Okay, so you guys are no. Before you get the key, you go up to Shelly to get the key. What do you be wanting this key for? What do you need to see? What do you need to get into her room for?
Just go take a look around.
Yeah, but why?
Just in case we miss something, Shelly.
Miss something? What do you mean? She missed what? She's dead. There's nothing to miss, Gil.
Can I roll notice? Does she have the key on her person, or is it somewhere else on the bar?
Yeah. Well, go ahead and roll notice.
All right, let me just make sure I have the same stats. Okay, cool.
Shelly, I ain't got time to argue about this right now.
8 success of the
8.
raise.
Okay, when Gil first asked for the key for Esther's room, she very subtly changed her body language and kind of angled herself to an area behind the bar where there's like, you know, a few things are stored, and like her left hand just kind of went to casually lean up against something. You identified it as that's probably where the key is.
Do I also see where James is?
You do not see him anywhere in the bar.
All right, well, I'm out of ideas.
The rest of you, except for Gil, can also make me a notice check. Oh, I'm sorry, not you, Carson, but Vincent and Jessica.
5.
2.
2. All right. Vincent, you notice there's as Shelly and Gil are talking, there's more going on here between the two of them than their surface conversation. Shelly says to you, Gil, she goes, I don't care if you got time. If you ain't got time to argue, you don't need to go into her room. Just she's dead. You came here. You all did your toast. Just
Shelly.
let her. Just
Shelly.
let her down. What?
Officers of the law. I think it might be best if you let us decide whether or not we need all the information that we have as far as the circumstances of a woman's death. Now, I ain't super well versed in everything that's been going on here in town since last we were here, but as far as I recollect, ain't very likely that a woman killed herself and then carved a number into her chest.
What?
I'm sorry, was that not
We're starting
available knowledge, Gil?
Yeah, I don't think
We're
supposed to say
starting
that
to
part,
think that Esther was murdered, Shelly.
She looks around. She goes, can you just not say that so loud?
I mean, he tried really hard not to. We asked
yeah.
multiple times. Yeah.
We just wanted the key, but you sort of forced it out into the open.
We said official business. We pointed at the star. Well, I pointed at the star.
My jacket open as well.
Yeah. So
Is that-
you kind of
is
forced
that,
our hand.
Is that guy still here? The one that kind of got happy with me?
He is, but he's definitely minding his business over there.
I'll just shoot a look over towards him and then back towards Shelly.
Does he have a job, that guy? Does he just spend all day in here?
Wait a second. Wait a minute. Are you telling me who murdered her?
Yo, can you please not say that around here?
That's what we'd like to find out.
People are gonna Gil. People are gonna think that that they came and murdered her. Did you come here and murder her? She's looking at the other three of you.
I just got here
I did
today.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't vouch for these two, but I will say I did not kill her. Gil, did you kill her?
There's no need to cast aspersions.
Seems weird. I mean, Gil could have killed her at any time, so that doesn't.
It wasn't
really make
Gil.
sense.
It probably wasn't Gil. Carson.
Wasn't me.
All right. Fine. Look. It's just y'all causing problems being here. Just being here, okay, with everything that happened. But if you think that something bad happened to my Esther, then fine. And she looks at Gil. You keep a leash on them, you hear?
I'm doing the best I can.
And she reaches into the box that her hand was covering, and she pulls out the key. That's a dead. And she hands it to you, Gil. She goes, remember, that's a dead woman's things.
I take the key in one hand. I take her hand in the other hand and clasp. He goes, Shelly, I ain't just doing this for Esther. I'm doing this for Elmer. I'm doing this for you.
Her eyes are. You guys don't need notice checks to see this. Her eyes are darting nervously back and forth, and then towards the hands, and then back and forth. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Gil. Yes, I understand. All right.
If anybody comes asking about this that ain't one of the four of us, you don't know nothing.
All right. Just go about your way. Just go and do what you have to do.
Come on.
When it gets all gushy like that, I think Carson turned and was like, and it was like just awkward and uncomfortable, and just turned. He's like, "Why is your badge shinier than mine? Like, do you polish your badge? Just anything to like act like he wasn't paying attention to like actual human emotion."
I'd give you a Benny for that, but you haven't spent the one that you've earned yet. So I don't want you to. You don't need that much of a bank.
That's the trick when you never fail a roll. Hey guys. Gaming with Gage, come listen sometime.
Is that how that works? Okay. All right. So you get up to Esther's room, not a problem. The course is locked. The key does unlock the door. And now you can have
up to the room.
Yes.
I feel like I should be in front.
Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
Hold on. just before we get in there, quick question, just to satisfy my curiosity. Exactly is the nature of your relationship with the current proprietor of this establishment? Professional curiosity, you understand.
That is a topic of discussion that does not fit in with the business at hand, Vincent.
Yeah, that sounds.
Don't you think that's something we should decide, though? I mean, as duly appointed officers of the law.
Got one of them too.
I seen it.
His is shinier than mine too.
It's pretty shiny. I must admit, I am a.
You can polish
I've got
it.
a special story about this. Out of character. I got a special story about this badge. I'll tell you later. Zach. But while we're having this conversation, I just go ahead and stick the key into the lock, unlock it, open it, put my hand on my gun, and open it.
Oh, we going in with guns. Okay.
See, you remain no fun, Blanchard. All right.
No, he was fun. Remember that time there was the guy who was in front of him, and he tripped. Oh, no, wait, that was you.
If I wanted to be fun, Vincent, I'd have joined vaudeville.
That would have worked out too well for you. All right, let's.
Was that a joke? Did Gil make a joke? It wasn't a great joke, but Gil made a joke.
It did sound like he made a joke.
Listen,
I pat him on the back and then go in before him.
I don't know if y'all wanted your jobs, but I didn't. Come on.
All right. You find yourself in Esther's room. Vince or Jessica, to you, this looks pretty recent, familiar.
Jessica killed her.
The bed's in the same place. You see the mirror, the wash basin. She's got her armoire that is here, and any other standard footlocker, those types of items are still in here, and it all looks relatively neat and well kept.
So the window, is it still open?
The window to her room, no, the window to her room is closed.
That's where I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Pointing it out as I approach.
I'm going to go look under the bed.
All right.
So I'll take the armoire.
Okay. Carson?
I'm going to look for a hidey hole that is currently invisible.
Carson's looking in the mirror. Come on.
No, it does look like he's doing.
That makes sense. That's right.
Well, here's my thought. And y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but he's lucky, and he's got the seventh son thing going on. So I have a feeling when he does his investigations, he doesn't actually try to do anything. He just kind of like starts dancing down the floor and just waits until he hears the sound, and he doesn't know why, but every time he does this, he finds something. There's no real reason.
Holistic detective of some kind.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right. The window is it's there. It's intact. You don't find any broken glass. There it is. It's not locked, and you certainly can open it. And the position of the room is such that to get access to her window would be a straight vertical climb.
So yeah, I want to open the window,
Okay.
not all the way, and then kind of lean out underneath it and try to see if there's any gouges on the outside of the sill or anything like that.
Make me that notice check.
I got a 2.
Got a 2.
Look, it's a window.
Yeah, it's a window, and it's open, and it's not broken, and it's still daylight out, and everything on the outside here looks pretty normal wear and tear and weathering. You can't see anything out of the ordinary. Underneath the bed, you find nothing besides dust and what appears to be maybe an old pair of shoes, men's shoes. In the armoire, Vincent, you looks like all of her clothes are still there and hanging up along the rod that goes inside there, and then on the bottom is stacked. Looks like a number of Afghans and blankets that she had made at some point over the years, and there is a small stack underneath the blankets of a few pairs of old, worn men's work pants.
Can I kind of like sift through the armoire and see if there's anything that's not immediately visible in here, or kind of just around for anything?
Yeah, make me notice check.
That is a 5.
That's a 5. You do find a small, or you find a folded piece of paper kind of buried way deep underneath.
Okay. Anything written on it?
Yes. It looks like it's a note, and it's a note written to Elmer. And it essentially, you gather as you're reading it, as you're going through, that it's written to Elmer after he had died. And it essentially says that a few things. It says that she misses him. She thinks about him every day, and she hopes that wherever he is, he's at peace and that he's well. But then it gets into the part where she talks about she had a lot of grief, and she feels real bad about everything that she did to get rid of Carson, Vincent, and Jessica after the fact, seeing as how she was so kind to them and advocated for you when you first came to town to help get rid of the Eights. And she hopes that at some point, maybe they'll come back and she can apologize right proper. And that's about all it says. And there's no date attached to that.
So I'll share what I found with the group. Although I gotta admit, this feels a bit off. And then going through her belongings, it does make reference to us and the events of.
Well, we're very memorable.
That's a fair point.
Not necessarily a good thing either.
I mean, judge not. Did I find anything dancing around on the floor with my boots?
As you go through and you're just kind of shuffling around, touching a few things here and there, make me a spirit check.
Are you sure it's not a smarts check?
Pretty sure it's a spirit check.
Pretty sure I'm not as good at
Last time I checked, it was spirit check.
All right, let's see. Ready for the first failed roll, everyone?
I am.
Hey.
Nope, that's an 11.
Oh,
How's that?
well done.
You're I'm assuming that when you do this kind of stuff, it starts off a little mirthful, when you do that. When you've got are you literally doing some sort of just kind of funky little shuffle type dance?
I feel like it's like I kind of am doing a beat, like a waltz or something, kind of that starts off slow and gains energy, and it's me tapping, and I'll occasionally just go on a wall or on a piece of furniture, but I'm just moving around the room. I don't have magic, but I do have nonsense, and that's its own kind of magic. So I just feel like this is the holistic detective is actually exactly kind of how I was thinking of this. I just need to put myself there. Fate will do the rest.
Excellent. You as you go through and you touch various things and you're kind of going around, you start getting memory flashbacks to the time at the point that you had gotten into the mines to go down and chase down the Eights with the rest of the posse. And you can start hearing some music since you're doing a waltz, and as each memory comes to you, it just kind of the music shifts and slides a little bit, becoming out of tune, and each memory becomes a bit more horrifying, and you start experiencing things that you didn't remember before, and seeing things that you didn't remember before, and you find yourself wondering if that was what actually did that happen? No, that couldn't have happened. Oh my God, did that? No, that definitely couldn't happen. Who shot that man? And don't put that there, that'll collapse. And then it just, as you stop at the window, and Jessica has moved away, and you look out the window, and there's a face staring back up at you, and it's Carolyn. And she makes eye contact with you, and you see her eyes go wide, and she immediately drops her gaze and quickens her pace out of sight down the road.
Gosh, there's a part of me that just wants to say, all right, I'll test the exit strategy and jump.
It's a fair drop. It's a fair drop.
And so you sent me the Carolyn stuff. Does anyone else know about that, or is that...
That's just you, buddy.
That's just me. That letter seems nice, and You know what? I think I have the lead if you guys want to follow me.
Gil,
are we done?
Gil, are you going to
just walking to the door and opening?
Run that by me one more time.
Are you going to do anything with those boots at all?
No, I'll turn them upside down.
Okay. There is just a pair of old man socks in there, and they fall onto the bed. And they fall into a little crumple, sad shape.
We have found all manner of useful things.
I guess I'll just toss the boots back down on the floor. I figure those must have been Elmer's.
I mean, sure, Carson, you got a lead. Let's chase it, because there don't seem to be much anything worth investigating here.
Yeah, so he's going to start going out, and as he's going, you see him kind of in front of his face. He's muttering under his breath, and he's going, well, she went this way, and then comes this way. Yeah. Okay, you two go that way. Gil, you come with me. If you see a woman who's got like a look in her eye where she's like dangerous, but like you could fix her, stop her. Call out my name. All right, let's go.
Okay, question. Based on that description and me being from this town, do I know who he's talking about?
She was also carrying some linens as well, Carson.
She also had linens, but that's way less of a distinguishing factor. It's in the eyes.
Like a much more immediately identifiable factor, but that's fine.
All right, you go that way. It's Gil.
Gil, make a common knowledge. I can tell you if you know who that might be.
Common knowledge. Do I get any bonuses from being here?
Yeah, there's only one person in town that carries linens.
That is a 6.
That is a 6. You think that might be the proprietor of Miss Connie's?
Can I make a smarts roll? Just for no reason. No, can I make a smarts roll to tell which way she went and to the perfect path to try and intercept her?
You don't. It's the town's not that big. You don't even need a smarts roll to do that. You can just do that.
I do that.
I am a benevolent marshal. All right.
And I guess, Jessica, you and I are to go this direction.
Yeah.
And look for a woman bearing linens.
It is very easy to essentially corner/ambush her.
I'd like to, in the perfect way that would work, it would be like Gil and I turn a corner, she locks eyes with me and turns around, and when she turns around, Jess and Vin are there, and she just stops.
and I'm totally cool with that. That is absolutely how that shakes out. She turns and she.
It's the eyes.
Yeah, so she makes eye contact with you, Carson, and she sees Gil there, and she has a bit of a surprised, shocked look on her face, and she tries to do the whole, I'm actually going this way turn. Yeah, and she spins, and then Vincent and Jessica are right behind her. Oh.
Your linens gave you away.
I guess they did.
How have you been?
I had heard that the lot of you were back. Marshal Blanchard.
Fast.
Yeah. So, can I? I'm also guessing I know what this is probably about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just wanted to see you again.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think
no,
that's
not
true.
At all. Yeah, that's a pretty bad lie, actually.
Yeah, that's a very bad lie.
That's a very bad. Does one sec, Marshall and I look at Gil, and I'm like, and then I look at the other ones. I'm like, oh, that's gonna get confusing real quick. Gil, have you met Caroline?
Oh yeah, you know Caroline. She started Miss Connie's house for the wayward and lost souls. Probably not long after the incident happened. It was kind of it started as a way to bring comfort to those who had lost their loved ones in the posse that would collapse in the mine, and then it kind of, over the years, kind of transmorphed into this boarding house kind of thing, just helping those who are just struggling a little bit and made their way to Wrath Downs. She's been a fine, upstanding citizen these past several years, and is, she's quiet, but she is definitely, I guess you could call her a silent pillar of the community.
I am aware of her.
Has she been? Would you consider her a fine, upstanding representation of citizenship in your town?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good to hear. Caroline, you actually did it. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I'll take that as high praise, even from someone as yourself.
I think thank you. Why don't we get off the street where your customers are and go to your shop where we could have a little bit of privacy?
Is there something that we need to discuss?
And he just kind of just goes like this and just tries to keep it down and hidden, but just throws up 8 fingers. But he's trying to make sure no one walking on the street sees what he's doing. It's just, he's trying very hard to be subtle because she's honored what she said. So he's going to try and honor his side.
She, a total Weird West gang sign. She gives the sigh of resignation. 8 sign! D8 in the West. All right. She, by all means, come this way.
Thank you kindly. All right, guys, this is my lead. And he just walks.
I'm sorry, maybe I missed something. Who is this?
Caroline. And
Is it Caroline or Carolyn? I've heard it 2 different ways from 2 different people.
I've said it both ways, so it's okay.
She looks back over her shoulder. It's Carolyn. Good sir.
Good sir. All right, well, I'm inclined to follow.
All right, I don't get a good sir. It's okay.
She takes you. You got to earn the good sir. Good sir. She takes you into Miss Connie's, and
I assumed this was a brothel.
Wrong Connie.
No, it is not. It is not a brothel.
It's Connie's home for wayward souls, though. Just sounds like a little bit of a poetic spin on a establishment's name.
No, it's just people come here when they're a little bit down on their luck, down on their chips.
As the marshal said. Now, I'd be a liar if I said that I didn't catch a few of the people who'd come through here time to time engaging in said activity. So, but it was never anything that was authorized by me. That's something I'd just rather not deal with.
An intended brothel.
Vinny, you still got your badge on, man.
Extensive.
Yeah. Is anyone else around in the building right now? Like if he looks around, there's no one else here.
Well, she takes you through the area where the bunks are into an area where there isn't anyone.
Okay. In that case, when we get in there, Carson will come and he will kind of put his hat down and go, Marshals, Carolyn, former member of, I keep wanting to say Crazy Eights. It's Wild Eights, right?
It's Wild Eights.
I keep wanting to say Crazy Eights so badly.
We've been crazy from time to time.
Yeah, but former member of the Wild Eights. And then he just kind of does a little bow.
So I have a question now.
Oh.
For the marshal of this
for
game.
this marshal, or okay.
How much of my interaction with Carolyn and her interaction with me has been careful or
oh, right. She are you looking for, was it friendly interaction?
I'm looking for any familiarity of any kind.
As far as, does she recognize you or do you recognize her?
Either.
Now that Carson has said that, her appearance has changed considerably. Her hair is completely different. She's wearing completely different clothes. Her face is much cleaner. So it's one of those. It's almost like the reverse of I didn't recognize you under all that dirt. Now it's more like I didn't recognize you when you're clean. Your memories of her. She was part of the gang that did a lot of reconnaissance. So she was always out with somebody else most of the time. As far as what she did, she had a reputation for being brutal, just as brutal as anybody else. Although in like the last year or so, before everything bad happened with the Eights, her attitude had kind of changed. You never actually found out why, and she became. You got the sense that she was becoming a bit disenchanted with it all. And as she turns around and she begins to look at the lot of you, her eyes do fall on you, Vincent, and she cocks her head and she's like, "You look a little familiar. Maybe I think I might be mixing y'all in with the posse."
Got one of them faces.
It's true, he does. Where do you keep your booze? And he's kind of like going around on the sides. He's kind of exited the conversation, but he's just hunting.
She points out the window towards Esther's. "I'm sorry, I can't keep it in here. A lot of the people, if they know where there's booze, they're going to come and find it."
All right, so I pull out one of my bottles from earlier.
I don't need. Yes, all right. That. Yes. Now all of your behaviors are coming back to me. What is it that you want of me, Marshall and company?
You could just say Marshals plural. I got one too.
Yeah.
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 Oh my! Are you kidding me?
The wildest thing, huh?
Don't worry about it.
Coincidence, really.
Turns out the system works.
Kind of want to look out for a town, and they pin a badge on you.
Didn't even discuss this previously.
Kind of don't want to look out for a town and they pin a badge on you.
Or you walk by a guy who happens to die, and in his last breath, he makes you marshal, and then you got to kill 3 people.
Or, you just kind of post yourself up and just take on all comers, and eventually everybody's like, we might as well make this guy the marshal.
Again, the system works.
She looks at you. As you finish that sentence, Vincent, she looks at you. Now I know. All right. Okay. All right. Whatever stories y'all want to tell yourself, that's just fine. I don't really care. What do you want from me?
Gil.
Marshal Blanchard, are these all friends of yours? I mean, I know that they were in the posse that took care of the Eights, but...
Close personal friends.
It's friends,
No.
Yeah. Like family? That might be too strong.
He's modest a lot of the time, but yeah,
Carson.
we're closer than kin.
Yeah, closer.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever, no.
Like that.
Like blood to water? The water is kin. The blood, that's us.
Be helped,
I guess the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Anyway.
Exactly.
All right. By all means, please continue.
Look around.
I dread saying that statement.
I'll look around, shut the bug. Look around, shut the door, make sure that no one can hear us, and it's starting to look like Esther was murdered.
Her eyes just get wide and her expression just kind of drops.
Tell her the next part. Tell her the best part.
Who would ever...
By an 8.
By an 8?
That may not be normal.
Well, hey. First, Marshall, it was not me. It was not me. Carson, we were on the trail together. You know, Carson, you know I changed. I wouldn't, and I love that woman. I would not have done anything to her. Marshall Blanchard, you know I didn't. I would not.
I can vouch for what she wanted to be, and it sounds like, Gil, you can vouch for what she became. So I don't think we're really thinking you.
Well, based off of Jessica.
But all the eights died. You all and everybody else died. They all died in the mines.
Which says something. The fact that all the Eights died in the mine is something no one else in this town seems to remember, so thank you.
That's that 50% of the gratitude that you were angling for, Carson.
I should have known that we would have to come to a home for wayward people.
So, Marshall, I want to describe the human aspects of the face I saw.
Okay.
Carolyn, does this ring a bell? And,
Make me a smarts roll. Let's see how close you peg this this description.
Smarts. I'll roll that on the table. I got a 4.
4. That's not bad. You go through the description.
Well, he had such color. No, he didn't have hair at the time. His eyes were. Wait, no.
And Vincent, go ahead and make me a smarts roll as well.
Okay. Ooh, aced it. Hold on.
See how it is. Everyone else gets to make smarts rolls.
Oh, double ace.
Ooh, here we go. What was the total, Jordan?
13.
Okay, I heard teen, so that's clearly quite high. 13. All right, so Jessica's going through this description, and you can tell that Carolyn is thinking, and it's like it's coming to her. But Vincent, you immediately zero in on this description. It sounds a lot like Thomas. In fact, he even points out one detail that drives the point home that he's describing Thomas, who definitely was a member of the Eights. And you finish, Jessica, with your description, and she's... hold on, let's see how she does. She says, that does sound familiar. It's, I want to say, probably almost maybe Terrence, or maybe it was young Tyler. Of course, he was.
If she starts naming off these T names, is that going to jog anybody else's memory?
No, he just did the same T name twice.
No, I said Terrence and Tyler. Did you say, Vincent, did you say Thomas?
Your audio is cutting out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is
it?
Now you're
we getting any better now?
Yeah, you're good.
Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas.
Look over at Vincent.
He was the Eights were a gang of some notoriety.
Trevor.
Thomas.
No. Yeah.
Carson, I'm fairly certain.
Oh, we're not still doing the T name thing. Okay.
No. It's Vincent's right. It's Thomas.
Vinny is always right. Did I not just say that not 2 hours ago?
It's Vincent.
Yeah, thank you. Now, was there a creepy guy with black that came out of his mouth in the Eights? Was that a thing?
No, I don't. I mean, there was Oscar used to spew out a lot of foul words, but nothing.
I'm gonna step over to Carson's side, face away from Carolyn, grab him by the arms, like, those are details you may not want to share.
Oh, we don't talk about the spooky. Okay, never mind. Caroline, nothing spooky ever happened in this town. Should we tell her about the... No, we shouldn't tell her about that.
I'll squeeze his arm.
Ow. Marshall.
Okay, so are you trying to say... he looks at you, or she looks at you, Jessica. So are you trying to say, Marshall, that Thomas, one of the Eights, who died in the mines, came back and killed Esther? Those are the words that you're conveying to me.
Well, we really didn't see a body afterwards, did we?
And Esther, just so we're all clear, Esther is Elmer's wife.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Just want to keep up.
The note they found had Elmer after he passed away. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
okay.
It's a thing. I don't want to say that Thomas, who died in the mines, murdered Esther, but
If we didn't kill all of those 8s in the mines, then I think I owe some people in town an apology, because I definitely thought they were being pretty rude. But if we missed some, then that's kind of on me.
Yeah, but there hasn't been any. There's been no word or sign or anything of the 8s, and
so I'm probably not wrong. Okay, good.
No, you're probably not wrong, Carson. Are we done here? There's nothing more I can tell you. It's already disconcerting enough that you thought Esther's been murdered.
A quick question for the Marshal out of game. Did the 8s have a tendency for getting tattoos?
Some did. It wasn't, as far as you are aware, it wasn't necessarily tradition, but that didn't mean that they didn't do it.
Okay, I'm going to be like nonchalantly, completely casually taking looks at Vincent, trying to see where his clothes moves, because unlike the way I'm playing him, Carson is actually very smart.
we didn't know.
That's his highest stat.
Actually, Carolyn, there's one thing I'm curious about that I never actually found out. Do you remember a young girl, Elise, would have been hanging out with Oscar?
Elise. Oh, Elise. Vincent, you can make a smarts on this one as well. Yeah.
5.
Yeah, you both do. I think that was his wife. Yeah.
Why?
Times. Yeah, for a time being anyway. Yeah.
Would you know whatever happened to her?
No, I didn't. He kind of kept that part of, he didn't take her along with. So there was only a few times that I ever saw the two of them together. I don't know what happened to her. No, sorry, I can't help you, Marshal.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Still trying to solve that mystery.
It's generally Carson. The only open flesh available are Vincent's hands and neck. Everything else is covered in
I know. I'm just
jacket,
keeping an
clothes.
eye for when you might shift a little, and
letting you know, just giving you a heads up.
I'm just keeping an eye on you.
Relatively comfortable in my duster. Don't seem I'm gonna be removing it anytime soon.
Well, I'm very lucky.
All right.
And on our way out, though, if we're leaving, I do want to take one moment briefly, like when all the other marshals are out of the room, and look at her and just say, sincerely, I'm glad that everything worked out right. And if you tell anyone I said this, I'll shoot you.
She looks back at you, and she has just as much sincerity in her eyes, and she nods and she says, That's mighty kind of you, Carson, and honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less.
And I wink and I leave.
As you are also leaving too, she does make a little bit, or at least makes the attempt to make some eye contact with you, Vincent, as well, and just to give the a bit of a knowing nod.
And
she doesn't flash the gang sign.
We don't do that here. I'm just gonna give her a bemused smile and a tip of my hat as I walk out.
I'd say she gives you a tip of the linens back, but that just would look really awkward.
Tip of the linens too.
I don't know, that might have different meanings there.
She just she has the sheets talk to you. Come on, Vincent. All right. So the rest of the day passes for you. Let me do a quick time check. Okay.
May I use the restroom?
Yes.
There's a bush right over it.
Yeah, I think we should have to have a quorum for that, and my vote is for no.
Oh,
Okay,
should we
well,
make
here
him
we go.
suffer? All right.
All right. I've only had to pee since the beginning.
By all means, if you do want to go do that. I'll make sure to have plenty of plot happen while you're gone.
Just have Carson dancing.
Okay,
It makes the most sense.
go for it. Yeah. So the rest of the evening passes, and let's see. So it's 8. I'm just making sure it's. And those of you in the Central Time Zone, it is now 8:30. Correct? Is anybody in the Central Time Zone in this game?
I think
everybody's
so.
either East, West.
I'm Eastern, so
That's right. Okay. Or Alaska. All right. All right.
really West.
Yeah, really West. So let's skip that.
No, Historians of Nukes is in the Central, so.
Okay. Did she just
So
confirm
it's
that it was
8:30 for her.
8:30?
All right, great.
All right. Good. As
Hey,
long as
Confirmed.
Somewhat
All right.
Central.
that's really
Oh,
all I
thank
want to
God.
know is like what time it was for nukes. So that's good. As long as we know that, we can continue with the adventure. Okay. All right. It is. You have been. Shelley gave you all rooms in the saloon where you can sleep for the evening, and it's probably somewhere. It's after midnight, but before dawn, and individually, she comes to each of your rooms and wakes you up. Actually, she goes and gets you first, Gil, and then she brings you back to the saloon. And she says, just let's just get your. She's extremely nervous and very distraught. And she says, I'll just tell them all when we wake them up. But I know this has something to do with them, so we have to just get them all up. And so Shelley runs to each of your. It's nighttime, by the way, Carson. She goes to each of your rooms and wakes you up, and she says, "Please, please, 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 please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to wake you up, but you have to come. You have to come. You have to come out here. Something has happened. Something has happened."
What's going on? What?
I'm asleep.
She like yeah, that's right. You're a hard sleeper. She has to work a little bit extra harder to get you. I mean, it's like literally dragging your boots or your feet off of the bed before you finally.
Well, who does she wake up before going after Carson?
Who does she wake up?
I'm the
Before
first
Carson.
up, so.
She gets Gil first, and then she comes back, and then it's probably she goes and gets Carson while Gil wakes up either Vincent or Jessica, and
okay.
And then she'll get the remainder.
Whoever wakes me up gets a gun pulled on him from underneath my pillow.
That is going to be
something to deal with.
You know what? I volunteer as tribute.
Okay, excellent.
Because as soon as that gun comes up in my face, my hand is on mine and out, and just. Now we aren't going to hurt each other, are we, Vincent?
I have a damn good reason for waking me up, Gil.
Shelley says something's wrong.
Right? Then it looks like we'll have to compare itchy trigger fingers another time.
I'll spin mine, put it back in the holster.
I just roll my eyes as he does that and get out of bed.
Why are we awake?
You, Carson, you're the last to come meandering down there as Shelley is talking to the other three of you. And she says, and she's looking at you, Gil, specifically as she kind of begins this. And she says, Michael's gone, my son. I heard something. And then I went into his room, and he was gone. And the window is open, and I don't know where he is.
I'm just staring at Gil.
But you have to find him.
I don't even finish the conversation. As soon as she said something came into Michael's room, I turn around, go back up the stairs, and go into Michael's room.
I'm sorry. Who is Michael?
He's my son. He's my son.
Can I
How
ask
old
you just
is
a quick
the boy?
question?
He's he's 6.
Who's his father?
What?
Okay, you know what? We'll get back to this later. Okay, where's his room?
Up that way.
Okay. And real quick, was the father... Oh, you know what? We'll get to that later.
Gil, you...
Carson, are you having a paternal moment of crisis?
Oh, I know he's not mine. Again, he's smarter than he acts, so... He had an opportunity to have her alone without Gil there, so he was trying to...
I'm just going to look back and forth between Carson interacting with Shelly and Gil just charging up the stairs. Suppose someone should back Gil up. I'll just head on up.
I can also go. Is Gil the father? You know what? We don't need to get into this right now. There's a child missing, but he is. You know what? Yep. Vinny, you're right. You're always right. All right, I'm following you.
I'm gonna go outside.
Okay.
And do a perimeter of the
area.
Salon, yeah.
Excellent. We'll get to you in a second, Jessica. Gil, you come running into the room, and sure enough, the window is open. The curtains kind of waft slightly in the darkness, and the moon is coming down, and the moonlight is just coming through the curtains, and it strikes his bed, and you can see something there that looks oddly out of place. And as you're approaching the bed, the rest of you kind of come into the room, and Shelly stops at the door frame, and she just kind of grabs the door frame in fear. And you notice that on the bed is a shawl. And Gil, you know that Michael does not have any shawls. Why would a 6-year-old boy wear a shawl? Vincent, you recognize the style of the shawl to be very similar to the clothing style that you saw in Esther's room when you were going through the armoire. And Carson, you notice the shawl as well, but don't notice anything distinguishing about it.
Yeah, Carson just goes, Gil, is he? You know what? Not right now.
I'm sorry. He's a young boy. Is there anything all that out of the ordinary about him sneaking out at night?
And she hand loosens grip on the door frame, and she points. She says, "That shawl. It's that shawl. That's not his, and it's not mine. That's Esther's shawl. That's Esther's shawl."
Are there only like 5 people in this town? He's talking to himself.
I'll admit it bears a passing resemblance to the style of clothing that Esther may have favored, but that doesn't mean that it belongs to Esther. I'm sure it's a very common homespun style in a town of this kind.
I would know this, I think. Was she buried in that shawl?
We would all know this. We were just there.
That's true. Well, I was saying I helped bury her, so
twice.
You do as Gil, you are the closest to it, and as you lean in after Shelly has said this, you lean in and you do notice there is bits of dirt and stains of that mixed in here with the shawl. And are you going to touch it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and as you flip it over, you definitely recognize that this was the shawl that she was buried in.
I'll go over to the window, take a look around that, and try to see if I can't see Jessica.
You're looking around. You don't see, depending on how long you're there, you're looking. You eventually see Jessica come around. What are the other two of you doing?
I'm just trying to take. I'm just paying attention to everyone else's cues because I'm still not entirely convinced that this isn't just a kid that snuck out of bed, but everyone seems real up in arms about it.
I'll start questioning Shelly and start asking when's the last time I'm actually going to do my job for once, and say when was the last time you saw him? What time did he go to bed? What was the last noise you heard out of there? Is there any time he's done this in the past? Going through the classic
that kind
stuff.
of thing. All right.
Yeah.
Jessica, make me a notice make me a notice check.
All right.
Or, no, Jessica, do it. Carson, you do not have to.
Okay.
Jess, do you see anything?
We're about to find out.
I rolled a 6.
A 6. You do find at what would probably be the proper angle a pair of footprints, small, leading away from the building and out of the town towards the edge of the town's perimeter.
Footprints. Although unless he flew, I'm not sure how he got down here.
Which direction?
A point.
What is that?
Does this happen to be towards the mine?
It does happen to be towards the mine.
I was going to ask the same question.
And Carson, for your line of questioning, everything comes out on the up and up. She put him to bed. Everything was normal. He did this once, but he never went outside. He just hid in different parts of the saloon. Last she had heard was basically she had shut the door after she had put him to bed in their, after doing their normal nightly ritual.
Can I also walk her kind of like out of the room where everyone else is while we're doing this, and then at the end go, now, one time, in all seriousness, this does not leave the two of us. Who is his father?
Make me a persuasion.
Okay. What do I have?
See, I just want to know if this nightly ritual was like a blood ritual, but no.
And Benny.
Oh, yep. First Benny.
Oh, yeah.
I'll spend a white one.
Okay. Well, this is going on. I'm going to turn back around from the window, walk over to Vincent, and say, Vincent.
Yeah.
And I'll spend another one.
Esther was buried in that thing.
All right. I did feel like it looked a bit familiar, but I was hoping that ain't why. You figure here, Gil.
I'm trying to do my maths on this. And I really don't want the sum to come up that she... Now, hear me out. This is going to sound crazy. That she clambered up out of that grave and came and got my... came and got the boy. And took him to the mine.
All right, well, I ain't much of a mathematician, Gil, but it seems to me, in my experience, most of the time the sums you don't want to come up are the ones that tend to... So, you're saying we're dealing with climbing up out of the earth here? Is that what we're thinking is going on? You got out of the ground here in town, Gil?
I ain't... if it happened here, it'd be the first.
God damn it!
But now, listen. We're talking about Thomas, who there is no way in hell any of them people got out of that mine.
It's like at least one person might have, Gil. Now it looks like we might have a few people getting back in.
So could this be something that happened when Esther, this thing attacked Esther and did something to her, and then she died, and then because of what happened, this thing did to her, she came back.
Yeah, Gil, I'm real good at shooting folks with guns, but this ain't exactly my line of expertise, all right? I'm a marshal by necessity.
Yeah, me too.
Not out of skill set, all right?
Yeah, we're kind of on the same page there. I'm not I'm just doing what my daddy taught me how to do, you know?
All right, well, maybe we should check in with some of the endowed of our group.
Well, if we're going, we got to go soon.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what the consensus is.
All right, now carry on.
So with 2 bennies, that's a 5.
She her eyes dart back towards the room where she can hear Gil and Vincent discussing, and she leans in, and she leans in close, and you can see the tears streaming down her cheeks, and she says, "It's Gil's, but don't say anything.
I won't. I was afraid.
Please find our boy.
I'll get him back for you. And if you tell anyone I told you that, I'll shoot you. All right, you guys done in there?
I take the lead. I am out. I'm just imagining that you all are standing off to the right-hand side of the door on, exiting. I immediately turn left, say nothing, and then go back down the stairs and out to where Jessica is.
Yeah, Carson, Gil's got himself a little bit of a theory. I'd love to see you weigh in on it, just get your thoughts. I might want to catch up with him, though, before he goes and does anything reckless and dumb.
Are you also coming?
I'm coming.
Okay.
I ain't going to miss an opportunity.
All right, well, and I lean to Shelly, and I give her a wink and a tip of the hat, and I say, well, he gets like this, and I leave.
Okay.
And I try to get Vincent to fill me in on the way.
I'll let him know basically the what Gil's suspicion is, but encourage him to see if he can do anything to calm the man down.
So we're thinking spooky smallpox. That's where we're at. on terms
Do
of
I
theories.
overhear this?
Yeah, no, we're following you. So spooky smallpox?
Nah, more like spooky bug bite.
Spooky bug bite. Okay, well, I mean that's better. I think. Is that better? I guess that's better. I mean, smallpox is real bad.
I don't see how it could be, but
all right.
Where is Jessica?
I assume she'll just meet us
around
there.
the corner. Around the corner to the back of the saloon where Jessica was.
Yeah. You find Jessica as you are gathering your horses together, and she's basically kind of marking the spot where the tracks are, and it's very easy for her or for the rest of you to confirm what she saw. There is indeed one set of tracks, small, probably made by a young boy, that are there.
Okay. All right. One set of tracks. The boy. Window.
This
own.
Tracking ain't my thing.
I'm gonna go with spooky bug bite made the boy walk. If we're going spooky bug bite, let's go all the way.
All right.
Kids have a tendency to get up after a fall, so maybe he tumbled out, landed fine, got up.
Was the window broken?
Window was not broken.
Window was open.
It was open.
Me.
From the inside. It was someone he knew.
You can't tell if it was open from the inside or outside. I mean, if it was locked, then that. But you don't. Shelley didn't remember if it was locked, and they're up higher, so odds are it probably was not.
Hey, real quick, before we go too much further, can we huddle up real quick? And he pulls everyone up, and he's going to pull out his rifle, and he's going to put it to Gil's eyes, and be like, Gil, did you do this?
What exactly are you accusing Gil of here?
Vincent, hold on. Gil, did you do this?
This is a mighty strange question to be asking me with a gun to my face.
He's just waiting. He's waiting. He's going to wait for an answer.
Vincent kind of just
I'm
grins
not
a little bit.
certain the question you're asking me anyway.
Gil, did you do this?
Do what?
The boy. Let's start there. Did you do this?
Well, you think I took him? I was pretty much with you the entire time. I was the first person woken up. This happened when we were all asleep.
We about to come to blows, because I must admit, I have always wondered.
The only blowing going on around here is his head's going to get blown off.
I mean, probably, but I'm okay with that. And I look, you're the only person who's been around this town, and all of this stuff happened, and you dragged us back here. So I guess what I'm asking is, can you do me a favor and unbutton your shirt down to about here?
He does it.
Exactly
no
what you want
8?
to see.
Yeah, if it's completely unmarked in flesh, then he just puts his rifle back over his shoulder. He goes, all right, well, cool. We can go on now.
I highly recommend you don't do that again.
Oh, it's fine. I get away with a lot.
Are you trying to imply that Gil tried to bring us here to ambush us? Gil?
It wasn't so much an implication as a guess. I've been wrong before.
You're wrong now, but if you ever want to stick a rifle in my face and see how it works out for you, I welcome you to try, Carson. I like you.
You see, he just threw his rifle over his shoulder and he kind of looks at it and he's like, I don't think you're being serious. I don't think you're that sure.
Oh my gosh! I wish this was a campaign. Okay. Are you gonna head off, or are you going to?
I'm actually gonna go up and grab my shotgun.
Okay.
And then come back down.
All right.
I'm hopping on my horse. Yeah. As soon as I saw that there was unblemished flesh here, like Carson calmed right down, which is not something like you guys. You've been with him before, and you know that he's joking, and then he's not, and then he goes right back, and there's like nothing ever happened.
So I think horses, of course, we get horses much faster.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So tracking is survival?
It is survival.
All right. So
I think it's
survival.
smarts, actually. I think it's just smarts.
What are you talking about? You have an edge that lets you have survival, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
Don't I have to study it? I never use Jack of all trades. What does it do?
You have the Cliff Notes version of the Wong Wei books.
Yeah, ask Megan. Yeah, basically it's she knows. It allows you to take a skill, use it, and you keep that skill until you decide to quote unquote reattune yourself to the new skill. So in other words,
I'm going to go ahead and take tracking.
Yeah. So you
gotta make a smarts roll.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't gotten to make one yet.
To get it at that, yeah.
Yeah. You get a D4 if you make it with a success, or a D6 with a raise.
Y'all can tell how much I play Savage Worlds.
Yeah, you're letting me down. I thought you knew this.
It becomes that thing of like, I could explain to you the grapple rules in SWADE because it's come up 3 times in the last 3 game sessions. But Jack of all trades hasn't come up since Deluxe.
You also waiting on your physical books to actually just kind of settle into any of this? Because that's my excuse.
Yeah,
I am. That is not my excuse, but it is now. Thank you, JCC, for helping me. You're always there for me. 9 success with a raise. So I guess I have a D6.
You have a D6 now in survival, so you can make that track and roll.
So you just gonna sit there and stare at the ground all night, or are we gonna do something here?
Quiet. I've got this, I think.
You've been quiet. You've been sitting there just staring at the earth for the past minute and a half.
Well, it's because the earth sometimes says stuff to me. She got freaky cards. You do the gun thing. I talk to earth. And it's this way. I got a 5.
All right. You start off into the night using the moonlight as your guide, and Carson's ability to talk to the earth to help find where you need to go. Plus, you've got a good inclination once you get moving that indeed you do need to go to the mine. Make me one more survival roll on your way, however, Carson, and let's see what happens.
I have the same bennies as everyone else, so you don't have to try and drain them anymore. Crit fail.
Crit fail. Okay.
Oh no.
All right. Well, if there was any time to get a crit fail, actually, this was it.
Oh darn, we lost the tracks. Let's just go to the mine.
The mine is not there anymore.
Yes. The mine. All right.
I would like to, if getting lost with this crit fail, at some point, once everyone realizes that I'm lost and starts getting mad at me, I'm going to say, in my defense, all of you let me lead the way. So whose fault is it really?
Mine for letting you lead the way.
Thank you. Let's all look at Gil with those eyes.
You arrive at the now abandoned mine camp in the silver mine outside of town. The buildings here, barracks, processing area, foreman's office, storage, most of them, if not, well, I should say all of them actually, are in quite a bit of a shambled state. a lot of worn down stuff. There
Dawn,
is
right?
what's that?
Before dawn.
I still didn't hear you, Jordan. Your audio cut out again.
Before dawn.
Just before dawn.
Yes, it is. It is just at the. It's kind of just at the cusp of dawn, but there's still enough dim light in the sky. There is a few spots within the camp where stuff has been burned. You don't know if that's from just vandals or if it's from before. Your memory here is a bit hazy at that particular time. But it clearly shows no sign of any activity of any sort, at least on the outside.
Anyone feel like we've been here before?
Been here before.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been here before.
All right, that makes sense.
Where are you
what?
gonna go?
I'm spinning a Benny. How do I do
Okay.
this? Just drag it out to the map?
Yep, you should be able to click and drag it and just pull it out onto the map.
Because I totally grabbed lanterns for us all.
Nice.
Yeah, you did.
Well done, you did. You got them lanterns lit. It's lit. And so you got a nice pool of light provided by 4 well-lit lanterns. Where are you going? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to see?
Is the entrance to the mine accessible once more? I mean, we caved it in last time. Is that right?
Yes. Well, the entrance, you can go partway into the mine because the tunnels collapse deeper in inside the mine. So you could travel into the mine some way. There are boards and stuff that have been put across the entrance in the frame there, but you could easily step over or under them if you wanted to do that, or you could check out the buildings here in the camp as well.
Doing that, I'm taking a look around to see if there's any sign of any sort of like recent activity or anything that seems out of the ordinary here.
Vincent, make me a hearing-based notice check.
Hearing-based notice check. Okay. A 4.
4, and that was because I could read lips. As you're kind of spreading out a little bit just to kind of get a feel for the place and maybe come to that realization that you might have to go into the mine shaft, Vincent, you hear something coming from the miners' barracks building just down the way and to your right.
Okay, I whirl that direction and pull my normal gun. And just kind of hold up the lantern and just like motion for everyone to be silent and then just indicate the direction I heard the sound. I'm going to start slowly walking over that way.
Okay. As you get closer, you can hear this sniffing and whimpering coming from inside the barracks building, and the barracks building itself is already in a sad state of repair. It's leaning slightly to one side, and there's bits of the roof that have caved in, and sections of, at least from the side that you're approaching, sections of the walls that have either rotted away or been broken off. But inside, somewhere in there, you can hear this whimpering noise. No, I didn't hear you. Say it again.
Oh, I'm whispering to everyone else. In there. Sounds like an animal or something.
All right, I'll go first.
I go in first.
Y'all are better shots than me, I think. Like,
all right. So Carson makes to go in first, and then Gil just steps right around him. Lantern leading the way. I'm assuming you do have your gun drawn, Gil.
Oh yes.
All right.
I don't.
Now too.
Sweet. You come in, and as you walk in, you see the collapsed and broken bunks where the miners had slept when they worked in here years ago. And your light kind of plays across the wall, and it stops, and you have to bring it back as you go, and you see on the wall there are handprints and strange symbols carved or written on the boards of the wall that are still standing. And as your lantern goes across and plays over all of this, you come across one spot where the word vengeance has been written in black on the wall. And you can hear from the shadows, you can still hear that whimpering and the sniffing, and almost like stifled cries coming from the far end of the barracks.
That ain't no animal, and I go towards it.
You move towards it, Gil. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm kind of trailing behind Gil just a bit, gun out and at the ready, just to see what he's getting closer to.
Okay.
If they're both up front, I'll slip to the rear.
Okay. Jessica?
Muted.
Yeah, you might be muted.
Yeah, I was muted. I'm going to cover the exit also with Carson so that nobody comes in behind us.
All right.
I will like to say for just a second to break the tension when it's Jessica. This is Jessica and I's first morning alone. Do you have a metal hand?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Took a while, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time we got a chance to talk. That's awesome. All right, I'll look this way.
Jessica, as you spin around to cover the back, your lantern flashes across one of the other walls, and you see the word justice also scrawled into the wall, and you're close enough to it that you can tell it was written essentially in ash. Somebody took either a burnt piece of wood or scooped ash, and they wrote it on the surface of the wall. Gil, you're stepping through and stepping over the debris and making your way towards the noise, and your light comes upon, or the circle of your light comes upon a form huddled and just crouched in the corner, and it looks up at you, and you immediately recognize it as Michael. And he looks up at you, and he's like, Marshall? Is that you?
Yeah, it is, Michael. Come on.
We can go?
Yeah, come on.
Found the boy.
Did you check him for spooky bug bites?
Is it okay? Is she gone?
Well, we didn't see her, but I'm gonna have to ask you a question. Did she do anything to you?
She just took me here. She sounded really angry at times.
I'm sorry. Who is she?
It was... Gil, you are Vincent, you come into the light. Oh, she... The old lady in the saloon. My mom's boss.
Esther.
Yeah, but I thought she died.
Well, do not put my gun away.
It could be someone playing a trick on us, son. That's what we're thinking.
How long ago she leave you here?
Well, just a little bit ago. She then she looks up at the both of you. She said that you would probably be coming. And then as he says that, Jessica, you're right in the door frame. Is that where you were?
Yes.
You hear this sound, kind of like slide up from outside, and the busted door that was on the barracks slams shut right in front of you, forcing you to back up slightly, as it just bam, just kind of knocks you back a bit and seals the the entrance. And you and Carson, you can hear some other sounds off to your side. It sounds also a bit like whimpering, but it's more of a female sound. And Carson, your light immediately goes over to the other side, and you have to take a couple more steps in, and you find the crouched and huddled form of an older woman. And she looks up at you, and she is covered in dirt, and looks like she's basically just been rolling around in dirt and gravel for days.
Does she look like she was married to a guy named Elmer?
She absolutely looks like she was married to a guy named Elmer. And there are streaks going down her eyes from tears, and she looks up at you, and she blinks, and she says, Carson, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Jessica, it's you. You all did come.
Well, when she looks over to Jessica, I'm just going to try and nonchalantly just like trail my hand down towards my gun that's not out.
As you get your hand on your gun, you hear a few peals of thunder coming, and you can hear a couple of telltale plinks of water beginning to fall. And she looks at the two of you. What about the rest of them? Did they come?
No, they're still back in town. You want us to go get them for you?
No. It's all too little, too late.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Yeah.
I waited. I waited for you all to return, to make amends.
You could have sent word.
Also 50% amends. But that's neither here nor there.
I just gave up hope. I had too much grief. I was really hoping that you would all come back then, just so it could be laid to rest. But now it's too late. Gil, what are you and Vincent doing?
Well, I'm pretty much... Here's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm going to hand the lantern to Michael.
Okay.
So you hold on to that real tight, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to scoop him up with my left arm and hoist him up. Redraw my revolver with my right hand. And now, are we hearing this conversation taking place in the other end of the barracks?
You can absolutely hear some of the words that are being said, yes.
Just inside the barracks, it's not outside of it?
Correct, it is all inside the barracks.
I was very loud when I said, no, they are back in town.
I'll just shoot a glance up to Vincent on that one.
I extinguished my lantern.
Okay. She says, she continues, she goes, and you can see as she's doing this, like her body is starting to twitch, like she's struggling with something. And she says to you, no, it's too late now. It's too late. You're back here now. They know how to bring doom to the rest of the town. You waited too long. And
I mean, to be fair, you waited too long because we came when you died.
She, as you're saying that, she begins to twist, and her mouth opens and her jaw drops unnaturally long down, and the streams of dirt on her eyes begin to flow again, creating new ones. And she's twisting, and you see her start to levitate somewhat off the ground as her body begins to spasm, and it almost begins to appear as if her clothing is changing. You see this veil kind of drop down over her face, and as with her jaw wide open, so it's like leaving just the bottom part of her jaw, and then she lets out this bizarre sort of half cry, half moan as she moves more into the light and screeches at you. And
Initiative?
Vincent, yes. Jessica and Carson can make a fear check at a -3.
It's modified by grit, though, right?
And what is...
Yes, thank you. So now here's where grit comes in. So if you have grit, and you do, Gage,
Okay. Good
or
to
Carson,
know.
you get a grit point for basically every rank that you're in. So being seasoned, you have 2 grit, which in this case acts as a +2 modifier.
All right, so that's a net -3.
Net -1.
So what is fear based on now?
Spirit. So it's basically just a straight up spirit roll.
Yes, I have 3 grit, so...
I ain't scared of whatever the hell she is.
Nice.
I ain't scared to know this.
I got a 4 also.
I will say,
right.
it is kind of fun. I know you guys probably all know exactly what's going on, being Deadlands GMs. I don't know the stat blocks. I don't know any of the monsters.
Actually, I'm not quite sure what we're facing here either. I'm
me neither.
right there with
this
you.
is
Oh.
this.
Deadlands
Yay!
is so wide open, it could be anything.
It really is actually, which is one of the reasons why it's so enjoyable. All right, yes, we are absolutely in a combat. So
We don't see any of this happening from the other side of the barracks, right? We just kind of hear something and see their reaction, maybe.
yeah, you absolutely hear it, and you kind of see maybe their lanterns like shake a little bit. Their little light pools shake a little bit.
Can I, at some point during that conversation, had said Mrs. Elmer? To give them some indication?
Yes, I'll let you do that even without spending a penny.
Thank you.
I have to hold on 1 second. I have to like bring something out here so I can like roll a proper initiative. Here we go.
I'm a little nervous.
I think you're going to be just fine being right next to whatever that is.
Yeah, it's the safest place.
It's been a long time since I've been on this side of this side of a combat.
Big old hug.
It's been a long
It's gonna give
time.
you it's gonna give you the Care Bear stare.
So, Marshall, I want to play my love interest. No.
Perfect. Hey, my parry is 5 and my toughness is 5. Is that good in this game? That'll be enough, right?
It's not.
No, not even a little bit.
That's mine. So
Yeah, I'm at a 5 parry and 6 toughness, so...
Okay, all right, so here we go, and I'm going to get rid of the map here just so we can all see things good. Say goodbye to the map.
Bye, map.
All right, so... draw me a shape here. Quick. All right, so we got ourselves a little kind of barracks building going on here, and not Esther, is over in this corner. And what happened to you guys? Where did you go?
We're probably not on this layer.
No, I'm on the objects and tokens layer. Where did you go? Did you guys disappear when I got rid of the map? That's nuts. All right.
I've been here the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about.
There we are.
All right, so Jessica, you're here. Which one is, where's Gil? This is, no, not Gil, I'm sorry. Carson. The 2 of you over there, and then let me see if you guys all still have control here. You do not.
I do not.
So I'm going to assign you control here. You had control briefly, but now you don't.
Story of my life, Chris.
I need all the control.
We all do. That's why we run games.
True. It is. All right, there's Gil and this here.
I was like, I'm not in control. My players' bad decisions are in control.
That's how I tell them to stop crying too. That's a lie. I take it really personally.
And Jessica is controlled by Jessica, appropriately enough. And then that leaves us with Carson. Okay, so you should now all have control over your people and can move them. All right.
That way.
All right, Carson, you are up first.
Do you not draw?
What's that?
Do you not draw initiative in Deadlands?
You guys not see the little turn order there?
I see it.
One card.
I see one card. It's
Yeah,
a
I
broken
see.
hyperlink, and it says 9 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's all I see.
Is it on the wrong layer?
Let's see. All right, so then let me do... I think I know what happened. So let's do this. We're going to clear all those out.
I also don't see the token for Mrs. Elmer, if I'm supposed to.
Yeah, you should. You should be able to see her in the corner.
Yeah, I just see us.
I see
I see
like a
squiggle like a door.
purple door squarish
I drew the door. Yep, well, that's just bizarre. Why is that happening? Let me bring her back in here, and then maybe you can see it.
So while you're doing that, we were playing this campaign that had a big world map that we would do for the beginning and end. And it was huge, and the GMs had to update it. There's 4 GMs, open world game, just while Chris is doing that. And so one of the things we would do as players is when we were at the beginning and end of session on this world map, we would zoom over in Roll20 as far as we could and start drawing stick figure shapes and see how long it would take one of the GMs to find it. And be like, is this a snake with a sun coming out of its butt? Like, what do you guys even do? You're grown adults.
That's awesome.
All right, now we got that. So let me recall all those cards.
Doodling in the margins of the world map.
All right, there we go. And that's pretty close to what we had last time, but we'll go with it. So now you guys can see everybody there. You should see an ace, a king, a 10, a 9, a 7.
Yep. I like that I went from the top of the initiative to second to last, but that feels right for Carson.
Yeah. So Vincent, you're actually up first.
Okay.
Actually, can I spend a fate chip?
Yeah.
To draw another card?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. I guess I'll spend a white one.
Sorry, I can't send photos.
My phone. Siri. I'm not trying to
Send
take
any photos right now, okay?
Yeah.
That's for after the stream.
4 spades is what your draw is there.
Oh, it got worse.
It did.
All right. I guess I'll just keep the 9 then.
Stick with the 9? Okay. All right. Excuse me. All right. So, Vincent, you do still get to go first.
Okay, so I haven't really seen what's happening yet.
No, you definitely heard the sound, though.
Oh, yeah.
Extinguish my lantern, though, so I'm gonna try and stealthily approach and see if I can get a bead on what's happening without being seen.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a stealth roll, and I'll give you, because you extinguish your lantern and because it's dark in here, I'm going to give you a +2.
Great, because I only have a D4 in stealth, so let's hope this works.
Nice.
I aced it on both
There
dice,
we go.
so that's helpful.
Yeah, very nice.
Well, ace on the D4. A triple ace on the D4.
Damn.
So 14 plus, that's a 16.
16, yeah.
Really nice of Gaurav to lend you his dice.
Right? These are
ahead.
new. Maybe my Deadlands luck has come back to me. Although that typically only works when I'm GMing.
It clearly sounds that way. Each hex here is essentially 1 for pace. So it is slightly rough terrain, so I'm gonna make your pace be 5 to make your way through here. But you can place yourself anywhere you want within.
Put it right there so that I can kind of get a little bit of visibility on what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, and you actually, as you get that close, you can see, because she is in the ring of light that Carson has. So go ahead and make me now a fear check, also at the -3 plus your grit.
Okay. All right, so -1 altogether. That's 6.
6. All right, you are fine. Okay.
So I'm going to say I move over there. I see all of this, and I just kind of like, my face just goes really still. And I go, all right. And I holster the gun that I had out and reach cross draw to draw my my ruined gun out of the holster.
Excellent. All right.
That's me.
That's you. Gil, you are up next. You and Michael are up next.
Okay, where is the door leading outside?
That is the poorly drawn rectangle. Yep, there you go.
Oh, I see it. It was hiding behind my fake chips.
Ah, gotcha. And I will say, too, that the walls and everything in this structure are pretty weak. So your paternal survival instincts do at least make you think you might be able to bust through the wall.
I'm not the strongest person in the world, so
Okay.
I think it's just head towards the door. So
All right.
Me right there.
Yes. Okay. And now it's Esther, not Esther's turn. All right, she's going to do this first.
I hate it when a GM says she'll do this.
First, implying
All
there's
right.
more.
Oh, that's a big die.
That was a big
Just
D12.
walking in here, swinging your big die all around.
swinging my big D12, Mister. You see the form that's floating there. It struggles a bit again. In its body spasms in the way Samara's does when she crawls out of the well in the ring and she walks. And so she's doing that, and then she mutters a few words before she takes her actions, and she just says, "The mine not sealed. This dynamite in the camp." And then as she gets that last word out, the jaw drops again, and she lets out this weeping roar as it comes through. And who is this? This is Carson. Carson, she comes at you, dude.
Yeah, I had a feeling that might happen.
And she just kind of floats right at you, and her hands leading the way. And you can see that she's got stuff dripping from her fingers as she comes up to you.
Well, you did go in first. So.
You did.
I did go in first. It worked last time. I don't even want to see this roll.
What's your parry there, big dog?
5.
Is it higher than a 15?
So that would be yes, that would be a hit with a raise if that's what you're asking.
That is definitely a hit with a raise, which is, good news for me. All right. All right.
I'm gonna bet there's a vigor roll connected to this attack. That's my guess.
I'll go with spirit then. Why not?
You go spirit?
If
yeah.
We're gonna take. It's one of them.
Hold on one second here.
It's okay. She just does 1 damage. We all know.
I'm gonna do it this way, and then I'm gonna go and grab. Ooh, this is really gonna hurt you. Okay, so there's that much, and then there's a little bit more coming.
Is it all 1 damage source?
This is all 1 damage source, so we're looking at 14 points of damage coming at you as her hands get a hold of you, and you can. I think, just like I thought it would happen.
Chris, while you're doing that, what if I don't want this to happen? Is that something we could talk about?
You could try and soak that.
Yeah, no. Okay. What was the total again? 14?
Hold on 1 second.
Now recording.
Ooh. Hi, Craig.
And it's just like I predicted it would work. It did come on during a point of action. All right. I'm going to resend you guys the copy of the link in here.
And it won't work for me anyway.
And it won't work for Gage.
Can I spend any fate chip to soak?
Yes, you can. All right.
What was
And as
the
long as you
total?
guys all put in your little usernames there, we'll be re-recording, and then we can do this damage thing again here.
You should probably re-roll for the recording, right?
No, I'm good with the roll that I got.
Oh,
I feel
okay,
pretty
cool,
good
cool,
about
cool.
that. Yeah.
Just thought I would double check, just in case.
So her hands just dig into your shoulders, and you feel this burn go through your clothing into your skin, and we're looking at 14 points of damage. And what's your toughness?
To be that guy.
5. Yes.
Extra D6 for the race.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. See, all right.
Looking at you, Callarman.
Let's
Right,
make
I'm
that.
sure there'll be ample opportunity to get me back.
Let's make that 17 points of damage. As the
9.
acid seems to burn even more into your skin.
Yeah, that'd be 3 wounds.
3 wounds. All right. So, how do you feel about soaking some of that stuff?
Yeah, I just dropped a red.
Okay,
red
so
right there.
Are you going to spend the red as a white?
I think I have to, right? To soak.
Well, yeah, basically.
Get your hands off my face! You just dealt like 17 points of damage. Leave my chips alone.
No. I'm just saying. If you just casually toss a red out there and saying you're doing that without saying I'm going to use this as a white, I could be a jerk, Marshall, and then draw a fate chip because you're spending a red.
Mm-hmm. I'm using it as a white.
Oh, okay, all right. Then go ahead and make that soak roll.
Beat up on the new guy.
The new guy. Beat up on the Savage World's acolyte here.
Spend another one. As a white. In case anyone was curious. That's
now,
as a white.
You can now here. Okay, so here's Let's now if you have a 3. If you do spend a red, you could or a blue, you could add a D6 to that 3.
Actually, can I have this red back and I'll spend a white and I'll keep this red just in case I roll better?
Absolutely.
All right, so there's my white. How the mighty have fallen. I'm pretty much out of fate chips. That's also a 3. So I guess I'll add that D6. And, it was really great. Thank you guys for letting me come and play with you.
Hey, man, it's been really fun having you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. What is it? Exclamation point for explosions?
Correct.
Okay. 8.
8. So you soak 2 of the wounds. So quit your crying.
I do. So, but I still have a wound and no fate chips. That's going to be weird for me.
The crying is for the thing you're fighting, not for you.
All right. Well, I have a wound.
Okay.
Chris, I'm just letting you know, I'm not happy about it. That's all I'm saying. Have I made that clear for everybody at home? Does everyone understand?
I'm gonna lean in towards Jessica. Is he not happy? Next up is Carson.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this.
That's what I've heard. That's the rumor.
The first thing I want to do is smash her with the torch, and then I want to draw. Now, drawing in SWADE, help me out, fellow GMs. Drawing is a free action, correct?
Yes, but before you do that, you might need to unshake.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. Make that roll.
Spirit.
I'm sorry. It's not me. It's the game.
And I'm going to just grab my dice here for the...
I got a 4, -1 from my wound. That's a 3.
Thou art still shaken.
I art.
Yes.
I do get a free action, though. So
Okay.
I can take free actions and movement. I'm not going to move because that would be stupid. I am going to call over my shoulder, Gil, get out of here with the kid. I've got this. And then I'm going to just hope that Jessica has this.
All right, I'm putting a little shaken out there for you. All right. Perfect. And Jessica to round out the round.
All right. Stunned silence as Gil is getting personally examined
by the way,
here.
to narc on myself, can I see this
Carson.
thing now?
Yeah, go ahead and make me that fear check. Yeah, you can see this. Sorry, Jessica.
I have 2 points of grit and the brave edge. So I'm rolling this at a +1, I think.
I believe that is correct.
Exploded on the ace on the wild die. Ace on the
Nice.
wild die. 14. No, 16.
16. Yeah, this
scared, just a little scared.
Yeah, it's creepy, and not only are you emboldened enough to continue moving, you are effective enough in shielding Michael from seeing this. All right, now go ahead, Jessica, and see what you can do.
Can you shuffle the hex deck again, please?
I certainly can.
Because I am going to cast Soul Blast with upped damage, so I need 2 power points, which means I need a pair.
Ooh, and you're going to deal again?
Yes, I'm going to deal again.
Oh, I love when that happens. All right, go for it.
I waste the power points, right?
Yeah, exactly. Power points are for squares.
Oh.
I've got...
Oh, sorry. I just inadvertently insulted the Hexslinger.
Inadvertently.
Well, there's your pair.
There's a
I've
pair.
got a pair. I've actually got 2 pair, but the extra is lost, so...
I was speaking merely in the huckster sense. Yeah.
You know, the real casters of Deadlands.
And then here's my casting roll.
Shots fired makes even more
5, so no raise.
sense now.
Shots fired, Benny's acquired. All right, so you made it.
That is a 3d6 damage hit.
Okay.
For 17 damage.
Jiminy Christmas. 17 points of damage. She has a toughness of 13. No. All right. Boy, that's some damage. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to spend a Benny.
You know how I know that's a lot of damage? That's the exact same damage you gave me.
It's funny how that works.
Round and around.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that. I'll do that here in a second. She is actually a wild card, so I actually am just going to roll my dice here. If I can find what I'm looking for. I can't find that, so we'll do that one here for you guys.
Saying if I end another turn shaken, I'm going to go get my dice too, like all the cool kids.
Give me just a second, guys.
That's right. I'm busy. And because she's a wild card, I get to draw 2 more chips just for her. Whoops, that should have gone into me. Come on.
A blue one.
You know what? I'm actually going to spend that anyway to add the D6. $11. She soaks. You had what? So you did 17 points. So that was 12, 16. That was 3 wounds coming at her, and she got a total of 15. So she soaked 2 of them. No, she soaked 3 of them because then she's not shaken. So she's at -1 wound. All right.
So Jessica did injure her a little.
Yes, so your soul blast goes up, and it was just 1 bolt.
Yeah, just 1 bolt.
And the energy just kind of crackles out and rocks over her, and you see her shudder and shake, and it's this combination of this weeping, crying scream coupled with something that sounds like a distinctly human female scream from Esther's voice itself, as the hovering shape kind of falters a little bit but does not fall down. All right, let's recall the hex deck. And let's deal some more cards. No jokers.
Ooh.
But Vincent, you were first. I believe you were first last time, so you're first again.
Okay, so over here in the shadows, as a free action, I'm going to spin the barrel on my runed gun, and as I do, the inscriptions on the barrel of it just start to glow a soft golden light. I'm casting Smite.
Nice.
That is a 6. I'm going to add +2 to my damage with the rest of this. And going to, I'm not moving. I'm going to just try and take a shot with Marksman at her from over here in the shadows.
All right.
Aced on the wild die. Aced on the wild die. 13. I did roll a 1 on my shooting die, though.
But that's not. But
I don't think that
I did still
matters.
hit. I did still hit if I had missed with the wild die, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Because that wasn't your hex, was it? The hex was the smite.
The hex was smite. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you hit her. So what does this look like? Is it just a regular gunshot?
I have smite cast on the gun. So as I fire out, the bullet just kind of like shoots out with a soft golden light tracing it as it heads right towards her. And that is a hit with a raise. And I can still do that on her?
You can still hit her with a raise, yes. Okay. I do have a question about the bullet, but go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. That is terrible. I did damage altogether, which with 3d6 plus 2, I can do better. I'm going to spend a Benny to reroll. Or a fate chip. I'm going to spend a red fate chip to reroll that. All right.
I've been told you're supposed to say you're spending it as a white.
I'm spending a red as a white to do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
There we go.
This I learned.
11, 14. That's 16 damage.
16 damage. Yeesh. All right, that is also 3 wounds coming at her. Okay, so she is absolutely going to spend a Benny, do a little soak action here. And for some reason, there we go. I did not set up combo macros like this, so I'm going to roll my dice here.
Okay.
What color fate chip is she spending?
She's just spending a white fate chip. You don't get to draw reds. You don't get to draw when I spend reds. Sorry.
No, but she's using a white one?
Yes, she is.
You dealt me out a fate chip. Did you do that on purpose?
I dealt you out a fate chip because of your very clever insult towards the actual spellcasters in Deadlands.
Thank you. Let me ask you a question. Can I set Sun and tell you not to roll that vigor?
You 100% can tell me to do that.
I would like to do that then. I know how this game works, kind of. Sort of. Thank you guys for your help.
Well done. Okay, so now though, so actually, wait, before you even spend that, I didn't get to ask my question about. So, the bullet, is the bullet essentially magic then at this point?
With smite cast on it, yes.
Okay, so it is literally a magic bullet.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, tell me what happens with this. Tell me how you take her out.
I'm just gonna say that over from the shadows there, while all this was happening, and I watched Carson get attacked with some small amount of satisfaction. I cast smite on my gun, and I just take the time to line up my shot, and I just fire this slightly glowing golden bullet right through the center of her chest, where her heart would be.
Excellent. All right.
I don't know what happens after that. I'm very curious to see.
So your bullet goes through her, and she screams again. It's that same mixed scream / cry / wail, and you see her jaw drop even unnaturally further deeper down as this wail fills the whole thing, and the barracks and the building begins to shake, and dust starts to come down, mixing with the rain that is beginning to seep through the seep through the cracks in the ceiling, and the body twitches a little bit, and then just unceremoniously just dumps to the ground and the floor, and there's a thump, and the scream just kind of fades, and the only sounds around you right now are the falling of the rain as it's plinking inside and outside the barracks. And you can hear, though, and even see, there's just a little bit of a movement of her chest, and she slowly kind of rolls over, and any semblance that was of whatever Esther had become seems to have vanished. But at this point, then you can also see that she's profoundly bleeding, and she's and her arm just kind of weakly reaches out towards you, Jessica, and Carson, as you're standing there.
I'm sorry we weren't sooner.
I'll kneel down and I'll say I'm also like 50% sorry. And I'll hold her hand and like start stroking her head.
She grips your hand, Carson, and Vincent, or I'm sorry, Jessica, you can hear this as well. Gil, what are you doing? Are you still trying to get out?
Yeah.
Okay. You are easily able to get out because the barricade that was there is now gone, and so you can easily slip outside into the rain with Michael.
Thank you.
Vincent, what are you doing?
I'm just waiting in the shadow. I haven't put my gun away. I'm waiting to see if this was all it took or if something else is about to happen.
All right. Carson, she's grabbed your hand and she's choking out words, and she's spitting a little bit of blood, and she says, "It's okay. The 8s are back.
The dynamite.
It's in the camp. You can seal the mine. But members of the 8s they're already in town." And she grips your hand, and her eyes just lock tight with the two of you, and they're flicking back and forth. And she says, "Do right by me, and all of us, and you can weaken them." And then her face just collapses at that point, and she has the stare of the dead in her eyes.
I'm going to go grab some dynamite.
Okay. So here's what happens, or here's the situation we find ourselves in. We are approaching the time when I was expecting us to be done, and clearly we are not done. So, and I would very much like to see see how you all do in the conclusion of this. So, is it out of bounds to try and schedule it for at some point in time in the future to finish this out? Because I would hate to do a lot of GM hand waving, which I could do at this point, but I would very much like. There's still a few more secrets and things to come out. Is that something that we can do?
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
I'd be amenable to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know my caveat. If you want me instead of Caleb, it's always schedule permitting. Or put Caleb in here. Make him deal with all this crappy choices. If the schedule doesn't work out.
It's his punishment for being sick. You have to now pick up Gage's mess.
Which, as we all know, not enviable.
Was a very well
other
made
personality
mess.
shows up now.
All right, so here's what happens, and here's where, and then this is the spot where we'll leave off. As after her face has gone blank, and she's dead. In the waning light, you can see what looks to be like this dark, almost black sort of wisp just kind of come out of her mouth and nose, and it just comes out and floats up out of sight and through a crack in the ceiling. And at that point, you hear this low kind of like chorus, multi-voiced wailing coming from the direction of the mine, as if there's a bunch of voices. Something deep in the mine is coming, and it echoes up and through the rainstorm and over the thunder that is now happening. And Gil, you see this as you comfort Michael and look back towards the town. You see what looks to be the telltale signs of a building on fire, and you're not sure because you've got the wailing there, but you think you might hear the sounds of panicked screams from the town of Rathdowns. And that, gentlemen, is where we will leave for this time, and we will absolutely we'll schedule something, and then we'll get it announced to go. Before we go, a couple things. I'll give you guys all a chance to plug yourselves here. First of all, good session so far. Feeling good? Everybody feeling pretty good about stuff?
Yeah. It seems like we're in a little bit of a tough situation here, but yeah.
Indeed, absolutely. But that's good. That's kind of the point. All right. So Gage, thank you very much too for filling in. Very last moment. Worked out
What are you
real
talking
good.
about? You gave me 3-4 hours of notice. It was fine.
I did. Sending you the desperate DM over Discord. Hey,
how'd you like the late response as I went to my wife and said, thoughts?
Nice. And thank you for everybody who stuck around in the chats. We really appreciate it. For those of you who stayed and watched the stream. The plan is here to try and release this also as a podcast at some point, an AP podcast on the various podcast streams of those marshals involved in this. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work with Gage or Caleb, but we'll figure that out as time moves forward. Again, my name is Chris. You can find The Adventures of Young and Holt at youngandholt.com. Joe, what about you?
You can find me at relativedimension.com with my current D&D stream, which I will be releasing as soon as I edit those into a podcast, but mostly on YouTube and Twitch.
Excellent. Andy?
Hi, I'm Andy Gage. I just go by Gunslinger Andy.
You never got to introduce yourself, dude.
I never got to introduce myself because I had to fight with technical difficulties.
That gremlin's hindrance.
Yes, Manitou's in the system.
Yeah, I go by Gunslinger Andy. I'm the marshal for Joker's Wild. Right now, we're on a bit of a hiatus, but we just got done with the first part of the Blood Drive trilogy of adventures. I also compose music as a complete amateur. You can find my stuff at bustedboot.bandcamp.com. And what else?
Check it out. It's cool.
Yeah, actually, that's what we were paying you a compliment on before when you were first having your technical difficulties. Yeah. And we were saying nice things about you. We were complimenting your musical skills.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Gage. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Andy. Finish up.
I was just saying I got started in 2017. Around New Year's, I made the New Year's resolutions like, you know what? I'm going to create something. And I did.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, Gage.
Gaming with Gage is available pretty much everywhere you can get a podcast. It's definitely on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, a couple of other ones. You can check out a couple different episodes with Chris Hussey here. You can also check out Jordan Caves-Callarman came on the show once. As well as if you like Savage Worlds and you like dinosaurs, check out A Savage Guide to Dinosaurs on sale on DriveThru RPG. It's $1, so what's your excuse?
You can't lose. And Jordan?
You can find me on Friday nights at twitch.tv/savingthrow at 8 p.m. Pacific time running wild cards. We're currently running an ETU campaign, but if Deadlands is more your style, you can find all 5 seasons of our original Deadlands campaign on the Saving Throw YouTube page. We also did release it as a podcast and do release Wildcards as a podcast wherever fine podcasts are made available. But it is not intended to be a podcast. It's mostly just the captured audio. So if you're at all interested, give us a video watch on YouTube or something. That's the intended method of distribution.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Excellent. Yes, it is. It's a good idea. Good shows all, actually. So again, thanks so much for coming. I also noticed that the guy who plays Joshua Young in Young and Holt, he showed up here. So hi, Brent. Thanks for coming,
buddy.
man. And also too, thank you for, I believe they rated the signal. I don't know, but thank you to Saving Throw Show.
I think they've been hosting this whole time.
Did they? Okay. All right, sweet. So Dom, you are once again proving that you are just one of the most beautiful people on the internet. So
Hashtag
the
Angel
Tom
Food
Hanks of the internet.
he you know what? Even I've never met him. He comes across as the Tom Hanks of the internet. He really does.
He's very sweet.
Start calling him that.
I think we should hashtag
Dom Hanks.
Dom Hanks.
It works really well. Yeah.
Boom.
There
Nice
it is. There it is.
So good.
Well done. All right. Cool. Well then he makes us say that very nice. There's JP is commenting from the chat. All right, so we're out of here. I'll let you, all of those of you on the East Coast, left coast, or right coast, go to sleep, and we'll talk. Thanks. We'll let you know when part 2 will come back.
Good night, everybody.
Go, guys. Bye.
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 Oh, before I go, I do have a story about this badge.
Do you want that
you
on
have
screen,
like
or
Oh yeah,
is that for
you
us?
did tease us with that.
All right.
I don't know how familiar anyone is with stuff in North Carolina. That's my home state. And I currently live in a little town called Boone, where Appalachian State University is. But this little badge I got at an amusement park called Tweetsy Railroad. I don't know, has anybody's ever heard of that?
Nope.
I got this badge 34 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Like right off the body of a dead cop?
And that's how he became a marshal.
That's how I became a marshal. But I've had it ever since. So
That's
doing
cool,
this,
man.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to wear this.
Yeah, you
remarkably
100%.
good condition.
It is actually.
I keep it secret and keep it safe. But all right, thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And pardon all my gremlins.
I didn't even
We got the
notice.
show on, and you showed up, so that's that all worked out in the end. So
All right.
all right, now the stream's done. We'll see you.
Good
all
night,
later.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.